This is DK and Shane from Takayaki Anime,
Yo!
and we are back for episode 103. Ignore the thing over there. Ignore it. Uh, we are back for episode 103 of Monthly Ketchup. Um, we have 22 shows to talk about today.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Um, we would have had 23, but what was that show that I?
The bunny girl?
Yes. So I didn't watch Bunny Girl, and
Shame on you.
um,
Shame on you.
um, so the reason why is because I went to go watch it,
Mm-hmm.
and when I clicked on it, it was like, "Do you want to watch Bunny Girl movie one?" And I'm like, I don't have an hour and a half to watch that right now because I gotta go to sleep. But I do want to watch it one day. So I was like, should I skip the movie or should I like wait until I watch the movie? And I was like, I'm gonna skip it just so I can get into season two. And then I went to the next season. It's like, do you want to watch Bunny Girl movie two? And I was like, there's two movies.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And I was like, oh my, how much of these movies are gonna be in season two? I'm like, now skipping the movie seems a little risky. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I want to watch at least one episode. And then I went to the next thing and I was like, "Do you want to watch Bunny Girls movie three?" And I'm like, "There's three movies."
Mm-hmm. I think I remember Simply telling me about that.
So I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm not watching it right now because I definitely have to watch all three of these movies." And I do if my memory serves me right now. I think when we last time, it did say something about um, an event that happened in one of the movies, or at least a character from the movie, is in this season. So I don't want to skip that part. So
Fair, fair.
yeah. So we have 22 shows for today, and
That's plenty.
um yeah. And the first show we're gonna be talking about is Ame to Kimito.
With You in the Rain. Yeah, I should have
Yes.
figured you'd watch this one. It's
So
it's something.
it is. Um, it's very, very, very chill.
Oh, 100%.
Like the chillest anime I've seen in a very, very long time.
If it wasn't for the fact of the tanuki or quote unquote dog, I probably wouldn't be watching it.
Yes.
Cause it's
Uh,
like this is too mundane. This is too normal. There's literally nothing going on. No one's having any issues. No one's doing anything. You're literally just seeing her day to day life essentially as a writer, and I'm like, okay, cool.
and you don't get to see you don't get to experience the thoughts in their head
No,
like how other stories do with the writers. Like
yeah,
you're basically like watching the story that they're writing take place.
yeah. Only when she talks to herself do you ever hear her like internal thoughts.
Yeah, like there's one point where I'm like, oh, she's a writer. I'm like, what is she even writing about? I'm like, I don't get it. And she's like
You know,
sitting at the desk and she's like, oh, and then scribble something that we can't see. And I'm like, what is the story?
You know what occurred to me too, was thinking about that though, is that I think it's a reflection of the anime itself.
hmm
Like I think the story she's going to be writing is about her quote unquote dog that she found, and just the day to day life of what they've been dealing with.
That would be funny. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. I do like the Tanuki, or dog as everybody says. Everybody but one character, and because that character said no, it's a Tanuki. That's my favorite character. Um, so
I love the little Tanuki dude. I mean, he's my favorite character. Just from the very beginning, holding up signs. No, I'm a dog. No, dog, dog. Say I'm a dog.
yeah, for me, my voice for him is like I'm a dog. Like he's just playful about it,
Yeah.
and like
Oh yeah, no, for 100%.
yeah.
He's
Uh,
he's he's a he's a character. I mean,
One
just
time he was a cat.
yeah. One time he was a cat. He goes through phases. Like he can't decide exactly what he wants to be. He's just like whatever is in the moment.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
there's really not a lot to say about this anime because it is so chill. Like I, there's her neighbor, there's her dad, there's
yeah.
her two friends, the doctor, and then occasionally there's like these random people she just comes across when she's out taking her dog for a walk and randomly see her and question what the hell it is.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Her mom came over for one, like a couple minutes.
Yeah. Her dad's
Um,
been more of a presence than her mom.
yeah. I think her mom's cool. Um,
To put up with her dad, yes. She'd have
and
to be.
yeah, and it's interesting because she's like, I would say, the smartest person, the smartest character that I've seen so far, or at least like the most like direct and like
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a floaty character where they'll just kind of just do whatever at the moment. Like she seems the most grounded. Yeah.
Agreed.
So yeah, when she came, like she was like, send me some pictures, and, and I was like, oh, okay. So whenever she has time, she'll like send some pictures. No, the mom was like, send me pictures now, but like she didn't put that in the text, but that was she meant.
See that is a good characterization because she didn't have to say it. That's
Yeah.
that's family, and you know when your mom tells you to do something, you don't just go, "Oh, I'll get to it when I can." You go, "Okay, I guess I better take a picture now."
Yeah. And then she showed up a, like a couple scenes later, and I'm like, how close do they live to each other?
I don't think they're like very close. I think they're probably they would probably I feel like that's like 30 minutes or so away kind of situation.
Okay.
I don't
Um,
think it's like right around the corner because I mean they're not walking. They showed that they were driving at one point.
yeah. So, yeah. So when the mom came over, she was like, I can't remember. Did she say the dog was cute, or was she just kind of looking at it, like
No, I'm pretty sure
staring
she
at?
said it was cute.
Okay. Um, I think. Oh, that's what it is. When people try to have the dog do tricks like sit, like paw and
Typical
stuff
dog
like,
tricks.
yeah, it doesn't. It's like, what is this? It's like sniffing people's hands and stuff like that. And
Yeah, 'cause he's
uh,
like, "Do you have food for me?" It's a freaking
um,
pig is a Tanuki pig is what it is.
yeah, and it's interesting because um, it reminds me of my boss's dog. Um, Back when I used to work for them, and when you see a dog, it's kind of its own thing,
Mm-hmm.
unless you put the dog with another dog, and then you can kind of see the personality, like the personality of that dog stands out more.
Mm-hmm.
So one time, my boss, they were walking my boss's dog, and another dog showed up, my boss's dog had no idea what to do. It was like, what is this thing? I'm like, this dog's sheltered. Like, it doesn't know to like sniff each other and all the dog stuff. It was just standing there like, what are you doing? And the dog's like all sniffing and trying to get to know him, and he's just like frozen, like, what's happening? So with the Tanuki, it's interesting because it's like I'm like it's a Tanuki that's acting like a dog, so I don't really have like a dog personality for it
Mm-hmm.
until it goes out in the park and then she's like, sit. It tries to have it do tricks and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, if it is a dog, usually people train it to do those types of tricks. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking. It's like, is this food? What is this? So it just brought back a memory of that where I'm like, that's true.
I think he more or less just feels insulted by it. He's like, "What? No, I don't do these things. You want me to write you something? I can write you something, but I don't do tricks. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. So, and oh yeah, and because like the mom did like those commands and like it didn't do the response. Um, he was like, "Oh, it might be a little dummy," and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was like, interesting, because there's a cat in our neighborhood that like
Mm-hmm.
wanders around and everything, and I was like, "Oh, a cat," and I kind like it was like laying in our on our driveway. And I was like, "Hey, cat," and it kind of looked up at me, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if this cat has anything going on upstairs. It has this weird look to it." So I was like, "Nah, you're good. You can just sit there. I'm gonna go in the house." Um, so when she's like, "Oh, it's a little dummy," I'm like, it, she's triggering all these like animal memories that I've had like over the last few years. But and then it's interesting that like after the mom said that, then the main character started calling him a little dummy,
Mm-hmm.
and then the mom changed her thing. She's like, no, I think he's actually smart. And then, so it's interesting that like the daughter mirrors like what the mom says, but then does not want to spend any time with her dad.
I mean, there's here's the thing. Like this, we've already said this show is very chill.
Mm,
Um, the thing is like they keep hinting at stuff. Like even from the very beginning, like her in the bathroom wanting to be there with the lights off and just listening to the rain. I get it's relaxing and stuff like that,
mm,
but I don't feel like that's normally typical behavior for someone who's taking a bath. Maybe I just haven't taken baths so many times, but it just feels to me like she's got something else going on. Like there's like something in the background. Because again, and like her personality wise has been very offstandish. Like it almost feels like she doesn't fully get emotions sometimes.
mm,
Like sometimes she's just kind of doing it because she knows she has to instead of actually like because she wants to.
mm,
So I don't know. I think there's something with her that they keep kind of dancing around a little bit, but I don't know.
okay.
Maybe she's just a very offstandish, bizarre person. I mean, she took a tanuki in and thinks it's a dog. I don't know. I mean, there's always the sense that this is just the way the character is. But I
Mm,
feel like something's gonna happen potentially. Um, something will get like revealed in some way, shape, or form.
mm,
Like, look, I know it's a comedy slice of life, but at the same time, I feel like in any story, there's always some sort of character development.
mm,
And maybe that's the reason why the Tanuki wanted to go with her specifically. is because he's going to try to help her through that in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe he's already doing that at this point. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily know what her deal is 100%, or if there's even any deal to begin with, because again, this is a very, very chill show.
Yeah,
Um, but it's interesting to me.
yeah, yeah. That does. There are a couple signs that I also notice, like I, like you said that she's standoffish, where her friends are like, "Hey, let's go to the beach," and she's like, "Nah,"
Yeah,
and then like the
but
next
then
day,
she
goes,
goes to the beach.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, and it's like, because
Like it almost.
it started in high school, and like she would just say no, and like they were like give her a suggestion for like a reply instead of just being like just straight no.
But it almost
And
feels like she wants to, but there's something that's holding her back from doing so.
yes, because even with the Tanuki's like, hey, let's do some stuff, and she's like, nah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe the Tanuki will make her get out of her shell more and actually be more sociable. I don't know. I don't know if there's just it just her personality is a little bit off, or
mhm,
if it's just like there's actually something going on that we're just not aware of. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I'll say that like with the watermelon, how she didn't really want watermelon at the beginning, and then the Tanuki was like, oh, okay, and then she got him
Yeah,
watermelon. So it like you said, I think I agree that the Tanuki may have like chosen her and like is there to like try to help her with something.
it's possible. Or
Yeah.
we could end up the last episode and it's just being like, nope, they're just living their life.
Yep,
Nothing changes.
yep, she's just quirky. Next
Yeah.
episode. um,
Next season. Yeah, there you
um, what was it? Ah, oh yeah, the neighbor was like, "Oh, you got a dog?" And she's like, "No, I just took him home." And she's like, "Oh, why did you do that?" He's like, "Cause he asked me to." And she's like, "You're silly."
And I think in the beginning she said she couldn't because of her landlord wouldn't let her have an animal. But it's so far we're like what 9 episodes in or something like that, and it's not been an issue.
Hmm.
And like she's taking him out for walks and stuff like that, so it's like obvious that she has an animal. And I feel like it's like you said you couldn't because your landlord wouldn't let you, though your neighbor has an animal. And now all of a sudden you're like, I'm sorry, I can't take you with me because my apartment wouldn't let me. But you still took him, and it's never been an issue. So I'm like, were you just saying that, or was there something else going on, or did we just kind of forget that little plot point?
Interesting. Well, yeah. Um, it's a very chill, interesting enough show to where I want to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I don't
yeah.
know. If something else doesn't go on in here pretty soon, I might be like, eh.
But
As fun as it is to see his interactions every single time someone new shows up and they're like, wait, is that a dog? That doesn't look like a dog. That looks like, and then all of a sudden he just shows up, throws up his sign going, I'm a dog. As
yes.
fun as that is, eventually the joke kind of begins to be a little bit stale.
Yeah. Um, I do like how he doesn't really like one of her friends.
Yeah.
um, I'm, I'm like, it was bad first impression because she said something. Um, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was like, and then ran into the kitchen.
Yeah.
um, and then now she's trying to butter him up, but he still hasn't like warmed up to her yet. So I'm curious. I've only seen 3 episodes, so I'm curious if he's gonna eventually warm up to her. But Yeah, it's interesting. Like all the, I wonder if there's gonna be another character that like isn't like immediately friendly with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we shall see. All
Agreed.
right. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Busaman Gachi Fighter or Ugly Mug.
Wait, you watched this one?
I watched one episode.
I think I got up to like episode 6 or 7. And I'm just like, I can't. I'm forcing myself to watch this. I'm literally forcing myself to watch this. So I have it still on my
it's
list, but I haven't messed with it after that.
it's it's a fantasy show.
It is. It's a fantasy show, and I feel like there could have been better. I think the problem with it is the characters.
Yes.
Like, this is a character driven fantasy. It really has, like, you gotta have characters that you gotta have ones that are interesting enough. And I get it. A lot of they've all transferred from our world into this new world, and
Mhm,
they're figuring that this is a way for them to start their lives over and to do better than what they did in their previous life.
mhm.
But I feel like they're leaning too heavily upon tropes in this, and they're not really being creative with how the characters themselves are.
Mhm.
Like, they're all trying to put on a happy face and show the best, like, oh, I'm so much better now than I was, or I'm different than what I was, or this, that, and the other thing. But then, like, they're all just so tropey, cringe, and just like, what are we doing? This is no. Like, if this had been the '90s or something like that, this might have gone over better with what they're doing with the characters. But
Yeah.
in this time frame,
It's like after so many amazing fantasy shows.
yeah. Well, and then just the fact that these tropes now exist and they're such a niche thing that just like they're all over the place and people act on them like all the time, and you're just like, please can I get characters with better development? Please can I get characters that seem better, just act better or be better? Like,
um.
there are ways you do tropes that are more original than what they're currently doing. Like, they just decided that when it came to tropes, they're just like, well, how far down the trope ladder should we go? And they just said yes. That's all they did. And it's just like, the main character is a little interesting. I will give it that. The main character himself is a little interesting. I don't know if that just comes from the fact that, like, in the beginning you kind of see what drove him to what he's doing or where he's
Yeah.
at. Maybe that gives him a little more credence in that regards. But
Mhm.
like, I'm 6 episodes into it, and I've learned more about the other three characters that are with him, and I'm still like, yeah, they have a little bit of interesting things with them, but we're not really touching on that. We're not really like, they like dip their toe into the waters of what makes them potentially interesting. Then they're like, nope, it's too cold. We gotta ease it back, ease it back, ease it back.
um. From the first episode that I saw, yes, they have to establish the world, um, and yes, they have to establish like who we're following. But like you said, tropes, and I feel like they're trying to be funny
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being funny.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, like I think the that giant burger that the girl got was supposed to be funny, but I was like, what kind of burger is it? I was just like, well, he's big, he gets a big burger. You're small, you get a small burger. That's I
Yeah.
missed the joke.
Yeah.
um,
No, it totally went above my head too. I'm like, I don't understand. What are we doing here?
yeah. And like the and when he grabbed the burger, like he accidentally touched her hand and like got like the millions of points of damage. It it was a little overkill.
It
Um,
was.
it was like, book.
Yeah.
I'm like, calm. Your health bar is really big. So even though you get millions of points of damage, the ratio's
Bleep.
not that the ratio's not that big.
Bleep.
Yeah, I was like, calm down.
Yeah. We are tropey. We are over exaggerating. We are like, and again, that goes back to the whole comedy aspect of it, where it's just like I don't. Comedy should free flow. It should come natural. It should come from just the situations occurring naturally by themselves. It's
Yes.
like when I come from when I talk about like dialogue
Mm,
and stuff like that, where when it comes from a writing perspective,
mm,
people have told me before that I do great dialogue, and it's like, yeah, I do it because I've listened to people and I understand that when it comes to dialogue, it's never like, you talk, I talk, you talk, I talk, you talk, I talk. It's always like you say something, oh, someone gets an idea and says something else and interrupts the other person. Or, sometimes people stumble over their words, or sometimes people have to think about what it is that they're saying because they'll say something and go, wait, no, that's not right. It's
mm,
like these are normal human things, but when you force them and you make it go, oh, it's such a smooth flowing dialogue, and it's like, but it's not natural and it feels wrong to
yeah.
people. And it's the same thing with comedy. If you try to force comedy into situations, it just feels wrong, and you're never going to get the type of laugh that you're trying for.
Mm,
I will talk about a particular one in an anime that happened this season
mm,
where I did message you at one point and said that is the hardest I have laughed at an anime in a very long time. And it's because it came out of nowhere, but it felt natural. And I will get to that
okay.
at another point later on because I don't want to
Okay.
spoil that. But
Okay.
it was I was dying. I was literally dying because it just was like so sudden, but it was so perfect and it was so funny at the same time. But that's
Okay.
how you do it. You do it when it just is the scenario and it works with what you're trying to do.
Mm,
And again, this is one of those where they're like, and the tonal shift is so bad. I feel like because they have these happy-go-lucky adventures. They're doing these tropey things with the characters. They're trying to make this comedy kind of go into it at the same time. But deep down, they keep tossing in these little breadcrumbs of you begin to think, wait, these people all came here knowingly. It's not like they were an accident. These people came here knowingly because their life was so bad they wanted an escape and they wanted a way to start over. And it's like that to me is like that should have been the tone of the whole anime. That should have been where you were taking it, not hey, lighthearted, let's go on adventure and all this other stuff. And it's like, no,
mm,
it, they could not, I'm not saying they have to be mopey and sad or anything like that, but the realism should be more there in that regards, where they're like, yeah, that you can see that they're trying to be happy, but you also see that it's more, only skin deep, and it's not like they actually really truly feel that way. And maybe over the course of their adventures and things that they do, maybe then they'll start to actually like be happy because they actually spend time with each other, help
mm,
each other, learn from each other, and are able to actually become more human to each other.
mm.
Like that's what I wanted to see out of this. That's what I wanted to be able to get out of this. And instead it's just like we just go from one ridiculous tropey over the top like literally the episode I stopped on, they were in a casino.
Okay.
And I'm like, why are we in a casino? What is going on here? And they're like, we need to make money quick and da 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 da. And they're like, we'll just go to a casino I heard about and we'll just. And I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah. And they try to explain it away, going, well, this was another transfer person who came to this world and just made a casino so people would bet their money and all this other stuff. And I'm like, come on. Why are we you're sprinkling in
Oh,
um, modernism into this fantasy just to play on more tropes and try to force comedy that's not there.
yeah. I do have a question. Well,
Mm-hmm.
actually, I have two.
Okay, go
Um,
for it.
so I guess one more comment. Um, but I'll ask the question first. So the question is, the point system. Does it like explain any of how the point system works?
No,
Because he
not
has,
really.
because he
Not
has
really.
like billions and trillions of points.
Yeah, no, they never explained the point system.
Because I was like,
They never explained it.
yeah, because I'm like and the thing that confuses me was like, they're like, all right, select everything that you want in your new life. By the way, you have like 60 seconds. And then he starts like picking stuff and he like hacks it and he's like, oh, if I just put this stuff negative, I get like all these points I can like start assigning. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the time, well, your time's up, and he like ends up with all these points that aren't used. And by the time he kills something and gets access to his bonus points, but then all of a sudden they're like, and he's an almighty god and everything's maxed out. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, but what about all the bonus points that he has? Can he like max out even more? And they're like,
No,
hey,
I
the
think
first
he
time,
used the bonus points and the base points at the same time. Like, he had those there the entire time as the base points, but it
yeah,
wasn't until he got his first level that he had access to all the points at the same time.
okay. So it just kind of just spread across everything.
Yeah, he just divided it up evenly amongst all the stats that he had and just maxed everything out at the same time.
Okay,
So no, that I got because that is a video game. See, again, that's a trophy thing. That's a video game trophy thing. Where I have seen older video games, if you don't allocate stats in the beginning, it's not until you actually level up the first time that you're actually able to allocate whatever points you had in order to gain more skills or levels in things kind of situation.
yeah. So
So
now, are the points thing over? Like you don't, they don't really like he already maxed
to
everything out.
him,
So
to him they don't matter. To him, levels don't even matter because what is the point of leveling? The point of leveling is to get points in order to put into your stats. His stats are max. So he's only like a level 2 or no, no. He's much higher level because he said his experience was um
like 10,000 times or something.
yeah, he gave himself like so many extra experience for anything that any little thing that he does that his level is actually like 4 times the amount of his party members. But his stats are already maxed out at this point.
So for him, the joke of like lowering his looks and everything to get all those bonus points, the joke was over once he leveled up and everything got allocated.
Basically,
And it, and then for him, none of that matters anymore.
none of that mattered.
I was interested to be like,
Yeah, no.
that's the,
Once he
that's
got access, once he got access to it, it just became it came. See, that's what I'm saying. And in
yes.
regards to plot, in regards to structure and character development. Like there's a little bit of character development going on here where like he's kind of getting to a point where he's being able to trust people a little more than he did, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time it's not like it's episode 6 that I'm on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not like he's quote unquote trusting them. It's like he feels obligated. He's like, I'm big, bad, powerful, and they're not, and they're gonna die in this world unless I protect them, and they've at least been kind to me, so I'm going to look after them until such time as they're able to take care of themselves.
Okay.
And that's basically what he does.
Interesting.
See, you
Where I left off, he was like, "Cool, this is my time to leave," and then he left.
no, no, he came back. He came back. And again, it becomes so much more tropey. Uh, you miss. Oh my god, the dude, the guy he's in his party. He 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 left a stipulation on his notes where he's the superhero slash angel of justice, and he's almost like Power Rangery when someone he cares for is in danger. And yeah, he kind of like bulks up and gets wings, and he's changes a slight bit on his actual looks and whatnot, and he starts speaking like he's in the Power Rangers.
Okay.
The girl who was originally an archer and then later on she becomes a mage.
Okay.
Um,
Does she still have bad aim?
she had horrible aim. Um, that's not, and that's the reason why she became a mage instead, because they just were tired of wasting arrows with her. Um, but
Giving
like
ammo to the enemy.
she has like there's stuff behind her that makes her more interesting, but they don't. They just keep teasing it, and they don't. It's 6 episodes in. If it's 12 episodes, we're already halfway through, and we haven't really gotten to the bottom of what her deal is. Like they've hinted at the fact that she was probably a paraplegic in her previous life, and that's the reason why, like in the beginning, she's not accustomed to walking,
Okay.
and like she wants to think the best of people and try to help them as much as she can because of the help that she was given back in the old world or whatever. And I'm like, cool, can we go into that? No, we're not going into that. And I'm like, but that would be interesting and we could do so much more with that. They're like, no, we're not going into that. Hey, let's go to a casino. Why? Because we thought it would be really funny to like see them trying to like gamble and not get what they need, and he has to like save them by using his godlike abilities to do stuff. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like this goes beyond normal anime stupid. We've reached levels of just insane stupid.
that's, that's like me with the point system. I'm like, oh, cool. So he has access to the points. So now we can like, now he can like just start exponentially getting stronger and stronger and stronger, like Dragon Ball Z. And they're like, oh, no, 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 no.
He's already
He just
maxed.
he's
He's
maxed
God.
everything out, and that's over. And I'm
He's
like,
God.
what?
He's God now.
I'm like, that's stupid because it can be so much more interesting compared to the way he's leveling compared to everybody else.
Yep.
Like solo leveling.
Yep.
And they're like, nah. Isn't it funny? And I'm like, no.
So funny. It makes me want to cry.
So yeah. Um this show was
That disappointment. I'm gonna be honest about it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was a disappointment. The the framework was there for them to actually do something actually interesting and really cool with it.
Yes.
And they didn't just fumble the ball. They like threw the ball to the other side of the team and just been like, "Here, you guys shoot it. We're done."
And then they trip them, and then they get the ball back, and then they
Yeah.
fumble it around some more, and
Yeah.
it's just like it. This is like a 12-hour fumble, a 12
Yeah.
episode fumble. It's
Yeah.
like every time I'm like, ooh, this should be interesting. They're like, ha, it's over. Isn't it funny? And I'm like, no,
It wasn't.
no. Stop trying to be funny and be interesting, please.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Um, but yeah, um, not what I thought.
Neither was it for me.
But yeah, so that's Ugly Mug.
Yep.
The
And boy
next
was it
show,
ugly.
the next show we're gonna be talking about is what? Oops, 1 second. No.
Ugly mug again. Hey, yeah. So about this show.
Wait. Oh, number 2 is messed up. There we go. The next show we're talking about Arknights.
Wait, so you watch this one?
I have not yet.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you're gonna do the ones with. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Arknights.
Oh yes, because I put the wrong picture, so I thought.
Ah, gotcha. Um. So I already talked about season one the last time we talked, and I really don't have a whole lot more to add to what I'd already said. Um, there's a lot of lore there. There's a lot of things going on, but again, that's because I think they expect that if you've played the game, you at least have a baseline understanding of what's going on, or at least the characters and other things like that. So they're not really explaining things. Like they sprinkle in explanations, but they're just like we're just moving on from one scene to the next scene to the next scene to the next scene to the next scene, and things are just happening, and we're just reacting to them in kind of situation, which is on the one hand cool because it's quick pace and we're just there's never a dull moment. There's never any episodes that I have watched from the first season to this season that I feel like is a filler. Like
Okay.
everything we're like into one battle, into the next battle, we're talking about this character, we're doing this stuff, we're doing it's just go 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 go. Um
And none of it seems
which
rushed.
on the one hand seems cool, on the other hand I would love a little bit more in that regards. Like it's like I've seen shows where I'm like we're up to here on it being rushed and I'm like this is super rushed. We're missing so much out of this. I
Hmm.
feel like if this was good and this was rushed, we're like here.
Okay.
We're a little bit more towards the rush end, but we're still not like super rushed.
Uh-huh.
Like they do sprinkle in little things here and then they're like and they are telling a story and revolving around our main baddie, and we do get flashbacks of what they were like. And what this show does is what I think there's been other shows that have done this before, but like we have our villains, we have our baddies, but we understand based upon flashbacks and conversations that we have with them like before they die or anything like that that they weren't all bad. They were actually they had the best of intentions or wanted to do right by the people who, you know, sought their protection, but things just turned out badly.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
it's interesting in that regards, and I keep watching it because new things keep coming up, but at the same time, new things keep coming up, and I'm wanting more of an explanation on where these things are coming from. And they hint at certain things where they're just like, we got this last, no, it was the episode before last. Like, there was a, I guess she was like royalty to the main, to Rhode Island. Like, she was actually the one in charge previously, and it's been revealed that the doctor killed her, but he lost his memories and has no recollection of this. And the person that he was with at one point that came with him and showed him the place where he had been kept previously, revealed that to him and said that like she hates him, but she hates the old him, not the new him.
Hmm.
And she understands that because he's lost his memories, he's not, he has no recollection of the things that he's done and the reasons he's done them, so she can't hold that against him in that regards. But he is actively trying to get his memories back because what he wants to do is cure this sickness that is causing all of these people to have these effects and that eventually end up killing them, because it's essentially like burns up the body and causes them to like crystallize and turn to dust essentially.
Okay.
Um, but again, the main character Amiya, other than the doctor, there's Amiya, and she's got other things going on. Like she just pulled out this sword that you see. I think it's on the same. Um, was
With
that on the
that
picture you look? Yeah,
glowing jewel, yeah.
yeah. So like literally, the episode I'm on, she pulled out this sword, and she sacrificed one of the rings. She's got like five rings, five or 10 rings, five on each hand,
Mm.
and she sacrificed one of them with a flashback, a small flashback of someone telling her, of giving her those, and telling her not to use them until she absolutely has to. And she used one of them, and her arm became like armored, and she pulled out this sword. And I'm like, okay, cool. How? Where did this come from? Where was this power? What is I'm like, what are the effects? Why was she told not to use these unless in dire circumstances and she absolutely had to? Is there some consequences behind her using this ability? Like, is now the sickness that she currently has, because she's also one of those that currently has this sickness that some of these people have, going to like be expedited because now she's using this? I'm like, I questions, 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 and I'm like, I'm hardly getting any answers to them.
Mm.
But like, it's cool. I'm like, I'm liking the looks of it and like the fight sequences and the effects. Like, you can tell this was based upon a video game because the effects and the things inside of it look amazing. They look very cool. From your standpoint, if you were to watch this, I think if you took it out of context of if you were trying to watch this for the story, if you were trying to
Yeah.
watch this for the effects and the things that how they do things, you would
Okay.
enjoy this
Okay.
because it is really well done in that regards. I can if I can appreciate that, I know you could appreciate that.
Okay. That's
So
the whole reason why I put it on my list is because of the trailer looks so amazing, and I
again,
just I just haven't gotten to it.
and I know from a purely graphical look standpoint, you will love this in that regards. But if you're trying to follow along with the story and everything that's involved in it, I mean, I'm having trouble sometimes following how things are going or what connects to what or how these people know these people,
Mhm.
where these people are at, or how this all came together. And, I enjoy the flashbacks that they give us, but they've been focused on one of the main villains for some time now. And we're
Mhm.
at the final showdown with them, and I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm still. I'm very much cross with myself about how I feel about this and where this is going, and uh, and like there was something with the main villain now that you realize that she's being controlled in some sort of way, and you're just like, okay, but how? Like you hinted at that before, but you didn't really like how and why, how and why, how and why, please, how and why. That's all I want to know. How and why? How did it happen? How did she figure it out? Why is it happening? Why did she not? How is she able to fight against it sometimes, and other times she's fully in out of control? And I'm like, when did it happen?
um, so there's two cases, or I guess there's three different cases. So where like a show can end up being somewhat disjointed, and we end up missing some information. And one, well, two of them are game related. One is like a story driven game that's just front to end all the way through,
mhm,
and it's because they're like, we can't make the anime 200 hours long, so we gotta cut some stuff out.
yeah,
And then at some point you end up missing information and ends up like we haven't end up having questions. The other type of game is where it's like, oh, this isn't like A to B to C. This is like A to B to B1 or B2 because it's a visual novel where it's
mhm,
like there is 17 straightforward stories, but they branch and overlap so much that you kind of just have to pick one and go all the way through. Or like Higurashi, pick several of them and just we'll play it this way, then we'll play it that way, then we'll play it that way.
yeah,
So, and then the third one is where they kind of like summarize the manga, where also like certain things get left out and we end up having questions and stuff like that. And I'm like, most of the time, I I'm fine with just watching the anime and like just getting through and be like, ah, that was cool. And other people are like, "Oh, you should really read the manga because there's so much more story." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." um, in this case, I'm like, from what I'm hearing, I'm like, is it one of those things where it's like I'm gonna want to play the game afterwards so I can get the whole story? I'm curious, but
I mean, from I played a bit of the game. I
okay.
had some of the game I've already played, and it's not. So the game itself is a it's a mobile game,
Oh,
and it's one where you have characters, and it's like a tower defense game essentially.
okay.
Enemies are going from one area to the next area, and you having to place your people strategically so that they can take the enemies out and not get killed in the process. And there are storyline they do have like storyboard cutscenes in between where there's dialogue being said and other
Mm-hmm.
actions being done.
Mm-hmm.
But I started with reading those and going through those, but eventually I'm just like, yeah, let's get to the next battle. 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Because I didn't feel like it was necessary to for me to know in depth about what was going on in order to play the game. I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know that there are some characters in it that are I do recognize from the game. The main character Amiya is like the poster child for the game, so it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. And I think there are a few others that I've seen throughout the series so far that like, oh yeah, no, I remember her, or oh yeah, no, I definitely remember her. Um, but beyond that, like I knew the overall arcing storyline about the fact that there is this like there are these people who are half some monster form or whatever, another and kind of situation, and the fact that there are these um, crystals that appear on throughout the land that are causing these people to become sick and become infected. Essentially, that's what they call them all, is infected. And it's interesting because, like, yeah, there are factions. There are different factions. There's Rhodes Islands who wants to try to cure the infection and help all those who are infected. There are the infected who are literally just either they're people who are infected and are seeking help, or there are those who are actively, because of the hatred that they receive from other people, they despise normal people and they try to fight against them, kind of situation. And there are the normal people who are trying to live their lives but then fear the infected, thinking that they will become infected themselves if they're come in too close of a contact with them. So they basically hunt the infected down and try to eliminate them from getting anywhere near them, kind of situation. There was one part in the actual anime where it showed a past where someone was looking for survivors and tracked them down to a town and ended up finding out that the town had found out that these people were infected, locked them in a barn, and basically waited out until the infection took over them and just they turned to dust. And she got so pissed off that she literally slaughtered the entire town in retribution.
Oh,
Because when she asked about whether or not they felt any sort of remorse about it, they basically said they treat them like second rate people. They treat them like they're criminals. They're horrible. They're unwanted,
yeah.
and basically they thought they had like they thought that like I did the great thing. I did what was supposed to be done. They were infected. I shouldn't. We don't want to deal with them and everything. And they're like, but you forced them. You locked them up in a barn and forced them to basically live out the remaining time frame in their life in agony as they eventually just you just waited until they turned to dust.
Yeah.
And they
I
laughed about it. So when they laughed about it, she snapped.
yeah. I did have a question. Can you catch the infection from another person?
It is questionable. It seems like if they die, I think it's been said that if they die and turn to dust, if you breathe in that dust when they die, you will become infected.
Okay, so it's kind of like spores.
Yeah,
Okay.
because if you go into the areas where these crystals are, you have to wear gas masks basically in order to not become infected.
So what those people did was counterintuitive. Like if they would have
They
just
locked
let.
them They locked him in a barn far away from everything else, but they locked him in
Ah,
a barn.
okay.
They locked him in a barn because they didn't trust that they were just going to leave them alone and just yeah, they were being evil in that way. Yes, it was in a sense counterintuitive because they could have just let them go, but they didn't trust the fact that they were going to just go, and
Okay.
instead thought it was their duty in order to make sure that no one else became infected and whatnot to dispose of them.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I was like, they just created a nest of spores then. If they, but
I mean,
if it was far away, then I'm like, I guess.
it was a barn that I mean you didn't really see a huge amount of it, but it did seem like it was at least far removed from the actual town itself.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
so again, things like that are interesting to me. I want to learn more and know more, but we keep going from one thing to another to another to another to another to another. One immediate thing that needs to get taken care of, and we don't really have time to explore or to go into detail about these things that are happening or why these people some of these powers manifest in different ways, and I'm like, okay, how do they manifest in these ways? Where does it come from? How does it do this? They glossed over the fact that one of these people were like bioengineered, and there were like, I guess they were making, um, they were trying to study the infection and stuff like that. So they actually like bioengineered it into somebody so they could use the like. It's a
Okay.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I wish we'd have gotten. They literally gave us like maybe 5 to 10 minutes of a brief back when this person was fighting to explain them away, and then we've never really approached it again. And I'm like, I would have loved a whole episode about her and how she became to be and what she's like and how this, But I'm like, okay, sure, let's just move right along.
Man, this I think so. It's like back in the day, anime used to be standard 26 episodes and maybe 52.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, animes are standard 13 and
Or 12.
anything yeah, and then anything goes after that. Um I feel like this is a 1,000 episode series that they're trying to cram into like as small as possible because they're like, we're not One Piece. We can't flesh all this out.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, but see, here's the thing. It's like, it's based upon a video game. This video game has lore. There's a whole world that has been created and lived in by these people and creatures and stuff like that. And it's like someone along the way made all the different lore, all the different, what happened in this area, but we're only seeing like a fraction of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I more? Can we rewind it just a little bit here? Can we go back a little bit?
This
Like,
is
I
like,
get you're wanting to do intrigue and stuff like that, and like we're trying to figure out what's going on with the doctor, but like there's too many plot points that are converging, and then we just get rid of, and I'm like, there's one person who literally will summon. She calls it monster, and it's literally looks like something out of either Aliens or StarCraft with the Zerg, and it's just this beast that just rampages, but she controls it, and that's her power. And I'm like, where did that come from?
are there more of those?
Do you, how does that happen? We have the Doctor. We have these clans because there was one dude who walked around. He was big, and like he walked around with like what looked to be like a cattle skull as a mask kind of situation, and he seemed very like um shamanesque as far as that goes. And they like teased him, and he'd show up every now and then he showed up for one final battle and got killed. But then there was lore that dropped with him as he was dying, talking about our main character Amia, calling her by a completely different name of like a title that she has. And I'm like, cool, what's up with that? No, we have to go do this battle. I'm like, no, can we pause? Just pause for like just a second. Can we reverse that? Like, you guys know about that. Can you clue us in about that? Why is she called that? And then all of a sudden, she had this ability where like she could give him a dream of what his like sh- again, she'd always had this ability where like she could create shields or like laser kind of situation, like dark laser or whatever. Then all of a sudden, when he's about to die. She tries to give him a vision of his perfect life as a way of trying to give him peace before he dies, but he refutes it and calls her by this title and says, "I will not be, lied to. This is not my reality. This is not what happened, and this, that, the other thing." And I'm like, question in the back of the classroom. How does she have that ability? Where did it come from? What is this title that she's now being called? And then this episode that I just watched recently, she pulled out this sword, and after bursting one of the rings that she had on her fingers, we had a brief flashback of someone going, "Don't use these unless you absolutely have to." And I'm like, okay, is that where the sword came from? Is that where the armor came from? How is this? And she calls it based upon the power of her like title that she had, and I'm like, okay, you're really gonna have to tell me about this title and what does it mean and why do we have it? And I'm like, oh my god, please. I want to know you're doing cool things and I want to know how and why. How and why. So like visually it is stunning. Visually it is beautiful. And I'm like, this is all cool. I love the fights. I love the action. I love the sequences that you do, and you focus in on that. And I get it because in the game, it's a lot of action, and I get that. But what else is going on? Give me some background information, please. Let it all tie in together.
Yeah. This is like speed run the anime. You stop in one place just long enough to like get that mission flag and be like, cool, you can go to the next one. They're like, cool, let's go to the next one.
I mean, I've seen animes with quicker pacing, but at the same time, it saddens me more in this one, only because I know the lore is there. I know there are things that are just not being explained. Like
Yeah,
it's different when they're just like this battle, this battle, this battle, this battle, and we're just moving along and everything. And I'm
yeah.
like, okay, cool. Are we just battling? Is what's going on? Like, okay. Because to me, it's like, okay, this seems kind of pointless then, because we're just going from one to another to another to another.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
they sprinkle in these little things where I'm just like, there's behind the scenes that I want to know. Give it to me, please. They're like, no, we gotta go to the next one. I'm like, you suck.
Like, but you wrote a good story. I know it's back there. I can see the pages.
Yeah,
They're like, no, no, we don't got time for that. You're like,
they're like, here, just a peek behind the curtain, just a little peek. Okay, no, 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 can't go there.
was that a golden book? Like, no, 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 don't worry about
Nah, 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 don't worry about that. Look
that.
at this cool battle. Look at this cool battle.
You're like, ooh, that is pretty though.
That is pretty. That it's very pretty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, and there's this character. Aren't they cool? I'm like, yeah, that character's cool. Okay, now we're not gonna show them again. They're done. They're not. They're done after this fight. So, but that character was really cool. Yeah, but here's
You're
this
like,
other character. Okay, there's a new character. Cool. Okay, now they're done with this one. I'm like, you suck. They're cool though. See, here again, this is a thing where people have different powers and abilities, and they're unique. And I'm like, that's cool, unique and interesting powers, some of which I've never seen before, and some of which you're doing things that, like, yeah, they're typical power things, but they're different. And I'm like, cool. Now that character's gone. Damn it.
uh, I definitely gotta watch this one. I'm going to try to put this at the top of my list. So at the end of the season, which is in the end of this month, I can
Hey,
at
we're
least
still
be
in
caught up.
August. At the end of next month.
In
We're
it?
still in August. It's the 31st.
I was like, wait a minute.
It's the 31st. We're at the end of August.
August is like, don't count me out yet. I'm still here. um, but yeah, yeah, I definitely gotta get caught up on this one. Um, but yeah, Arkanites, speed running along.
Yeah.
um, But yeah, the next show we're gonna be talking about is Clematis.
So you watched this one, at least the first episode.
I watched. Um, what's her face got eaten by the.
Oh, yeah. God, isn't this just. You know what? It's been a while since I've seen an anime that is this dark.
That man.
It has been a while since I have seen and one that's not like horror, like straight up just it's not straight up horror where it's like, you know, King's Game or like, Higurashi or stuff like that, just like,
Elvin Lead.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this is fantasy, but it is dark fantasy.
Yeah.
So it has been a while. This is like original Berserk level of dark
That
fantasy.
I wanted to say it reminds me of what I think Berserk would be,
Yes.
but I haven't seen it, so I wasn't
No.
sure.
This is 100% like if they had done. I'm only gonna say this once. If they had done the newest Berserk in this style, it would have been a million times better.
Yeah.
This is like they set the tone straight away. Like there was no question in my mind of the tone of this was going to take after we go along with the heroes and they just brutally get killed.
Yeah.
Like we're like, all right, hero adventure, cool, and it's like, all right, heroes are gonna triumph. No, they're gonna get murdered.
It's like and party wiped.
Party out. And then not only that, they're gonna get murdered. The thing that did it is gonna get pissed off and go after the kingdom. And it's like not only that, you're like, oh, he's just gonna go after the kingdom and maybe he's just gonna get tired of people. No, he wipes the entire freaking kingdom.
Yeah.
Like he goes to the capital and does not let a single thing live except for one baby.
He was being an ass on purpose.
Yeah.
When he was running towards the castle,
Mm-hmm.
he was just stomping houses.
Yeah.
Just boom, 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 boom.
Well, because his
And then
intention was to kill everyone. He
and
didn't
then
care.
and then he zooms out. There's a perfectly clear path with no obstructions. And he's like, nah, I'm not gonna walk on the cobblestone road. I
Yeah.
was just stomp every house on the way.
Yep.
And I'm like, what
So
the hell?
they do a good job as a character with him. They do a good job because they made it right away where he's curious about humanity, but he doesn't understand humanity,
Mhm.
and he wants to figure it out. He figures I'm going to give it a fair shot and see if humanity is worth not killing.
Yeah. And he's like, y'all proved me right so many times, but every now and then
Yeah.
somebody will prove me wrong.
Admittedly, I mean it was partly the baby, but it was also partly the female hero who we go along with too. The fact
Mhm.
that she had enough resolve and was able to actually impress him by actually like partly damaging him at least a little bit, that he
Mhm.
was like, okay, yeah, maybe let's
Mhm.
see.
And she
So
still, I do like the aspect of her that she still is like trying to kill him.
yeah,
Like, I guess she's just like looking around for something. He's like, can I kill him with this? Nah. Okay, I'll play along. She's like she's just always plotting.
and again this goes back to the tone. I like the aspect of the fact that she immediately was tried to kill herself and be like, I am not going to be a servant to you. And she
Yeah.
tried to off herself and then realized she couldn't.
Yeah.
But that's fair. That is
Yeah.
a fair reaction to being resurrected by the thing you hate the most and you wanted to kill, and then being told that you're now becoming its servant and going, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something everyone would always think about, but I like the fact that they went there on that.
Yeah.
Because it really shows her resolve and it also shows how different they're trying to be. Like, it's not your typical situation. It's not, this is not your typical anime in that regards.
Yeah.
And they don't, if they were going that far, like, again, they set the tone early on. They don't hold back with showing the horrible side of humanity, too.
Uh,
Again, I don't necessarily like that, but if you're going to set the tone in that regards, don't pussyfoot it later on and just go, oh, they're just, bad people kind of situation. No,
yeah.
show them being bad people. Give a reason why we hate them and why we should despise them and try to kill them kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like then when she as the hero actually takes action and does what she does, it feels justified. You root for her. You actually feel like, oh,
Yeah.
she did this for a reason, and it's not just because maybe she's becoming, mentally turned by being a servant of this monster. It's like,
Hmm.
no, these were bad people.
Yeah.
They deserved everything that came to them.
Yeah.
So,
Like we just saw what they did today.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
already, it's just seeing what they did today is already horrible enough. You can imagine what they've been doing.
Yeah. Um, I feel so bad for the wet nurse. Um, because they showed her background
Hmm.
and um and then she had like a sprinkling of hope
Yep.
even though she turned it down.
Yeah.
That was like maybe in the back
But
of her head.
the thing is it's realistic because she's
Yeah.
been beaten down so much. That's the reason why she turned it down because she did
Yeah.
thought it was too good to be true. And to be
Yeah.
fair, I don't blame her in that regards.
Yeah.
But I should say, if you do, you should probably continue watching that one because there are other things that happen and it becomes even more interesting.
Yes. So this is one of those shows where I'm like I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Like I the the hero also impressed me because they I don't know if they purposefully or unintentionally foreshadowed something that happened. Um, like the sword that they were trying to get at the bottom of the thing.
Mm.
Basically, the episode where I ended, where she was in the barrel floating down, and then there was something even bigger at the bottom. I was like, oh, and then I was like, time to stop, like normal. Um,
But
so
I do like the fact I was going to get to that. I like the fact that she's kind of brilliant, and she uses her brains
yes,
because she was like, I don't die. If I don't die, then I can do these things like cutting the bridge and making everyone fall because I'm not
yeah,
going to die.
yes,
And then she's like, I need to get a weapon. Well, I can get that sword, but even though I can't die, I could still be eaten and probably chewed apart, so I don't want to run the risk of getting devoured
yeah,
and everything. So instead, I will float down in a barrel and sh- she's going to drown, but she won't die,
yeah,
which is rough. But she
yeah,
understands her limitations and she understands what she can do, so she's utilizing those things to be able to do what she needs to do, which I
yeah,
admire the crap out of.
yeah. It's one of those things where it's like this is a character who does risky things,
But they're calculated.
not yes, not to sacrifice themselves to save everybody. It's because she thought about it and it's a calculated move.
Hmm.
It's it's
which
It's
shows
literally
her brilliance in that regards.
yes, it's literally a dice roll.
Yeah,
It's like I don't know exactly how these powers work, but if it's what I think, then I can figure it out once everything happens. So it's
yeah,
like, oh, I'm gonna knock this bridge down. I'm gonna fall to my death, with death, and then I'll see what happens when I'm down there. And then she's down there. She's like, oh, my body doesn't move. Oh, this sucks. um, like you said, how she's like, I need to get to the bottom of this lake or pond or whatever, and she's like, but I'll get torn to shreds because these monsters are hungry. And he's like, oh, I know exactly what to feed them.
yeah.
And then she just tears off the scaffolding and just dumps everybody in there. And I'm like, I did not know that they would come because like when they did the establishing shot, I was looking at the scaffolding and I'm like, that's rickety as hell.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm like, that looks dangerous. Anyway, establishing shot. Let's move on to what the story says. And then they bring it right back, and I'm like, she cut two wires and the whole thing fell. I'm like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I'm just like, that's what 3 episodes, right?
Yeah.
In and yeah, and I'm like already impressed by this show, so I'm definitely gonna continue it. Yeah, it's very dark.
Oh yeah. No, 100%.
um, one thing that was unintentionally funny or intentionally funny, um, whenever she got up from, I guess when the little blood puppy was like, I guess I can go back and give you your powers back, and like she started like rebuilding her body, and she was all like robot dancing, and the guys are like, ah, she's possessed.
To be fair, that is a very realistic reaction to that.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. Like
It is.
out of all of the shows that I watched, this is the one show that I thought about like the following couple days. Um, one because of like the risks that the characters are taking, and then two because I literally stopped at right when the wet nurse like got eaten and like
Mhm.
barfed back up, and then I was like, I gotta move on to other shows, I've been thinking, I've been wanting to go back to this show because I want to find out what happens.
The I will just say the lore runs deep in this one.
Yeah.
Like here again, and I think that's the reason why I like fantasy as much as I do, because when it comes to fantasy, you really have to have the good ones. I will say this: the good ones will have a world that they have created, unique unto itself. And sometimes it's a small change, sometimes it's a major change,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always something different about it than just our everyday world.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, when you have a good show like that, that has a very solid based world that they live
Mm-hmm.
in, it
Yeah.
really can grab you and really make you want to learn more about it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like what are the like I'm trying in my head I'm trying to think in like 2 words like good fantasy versus like average run of the mill fantasy, and it's like lore in a world versus a setting and creatures.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because like this one definitely has a world built out, and I'm like, so much stuff is happening, and I'm so interested, and he's just one of the beasts,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
I will say, just to give you a heads up, you do meet another one.
okay, yeah,
You do
so
meet another one. I mean, you see the other one, but we primarily are conversing with one of their emissaries,
yeah,
and
so
it's still just like a what the frick.
So, yeah, Clevantes is excellent so
Yep.
far, and I cannot wait to get to the rest of it.
If
Uh,
anyone out there watching it, be prepared. It deals with some fairly dark and serious matters.
yes, it does. All right. The next show we're going to be talking about is Dan Dan Season 2.
Going to a somewhat flip side of that. Dan to Dan, man, it just more and more that I watch this show, it just reminds me of like the good old days of early anime, things like Excel Saga, Furikuri, like we're going up and beyond. They're a little more grounded than those some other ones, but the
Mm,
bizarreness and the strangeness that this show brings with it is just it's so good. And then
yeah.
to go further with that and just have this budding relationship that we see between Momo and Okuron is just I mean, I'm usually not one to go into that sort of thing, but seeing them kind of start to kind of catch feelings for each other and start kind of figuring that stuff out. And I guess because they early on that they established it that, Okuron is just very awkward and very just inward, doesn't like to has a very hard time relating to others and doesn't really get along a lot of times with others. And then you have Momo, who's like the exact opposite, very
Yeah.
outward going, very, you know, uh, gets in your face, but in a good way kind of situation.
Yeah. Stands up
And
for what's right.
yeah, and because of that, it's one of those situations where I guess opposites attract, and they just really, you see Okuron slowly get out of his shell, and become a little bit more sure of himself and really come into his own, and you see Momo really starting to come down a little bit and be more, you know, not as in your face, but more just more friendly in that regards. Kind of her
Yes.
mood kind of shifts a little bit, where she's, before she was always kind of upset or angry or just ready to blow off kind of situation.
Yes.
Now she's kind of mellowed down a little bit. I mean, she's still got that feistiness in her, but it's not
Yeah.
as blunt as it used to be kind of situation.
Yeah.
So this is when it comes to character development, this is what you want to see in characters. This is what
Yes.
you want to be able to see the minute little changes that occur as they begin to grow and progress in their own way kind of situation.
Yes.
And you can tell that they're being influenced by each other, that they feel these things for each other kind of situation. We're not
Yeah.
just immediately jumping into these things where they're getting that relationship. We're doing small things that are kind of showing that, and we're building upon it. We're getting the frameworks involved and then building upon that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
have all these crazy aliens and monsters that they come across.
Yeah.
Because it's like we
Uh,
can't just have this budding romance. We gotta have just bizarre, off the wall. God, are you current?
I believe so.
Okay, that
Uh,
song the exorcism that they tried to do or whatever.
oh yes.
That was just awesome. Like that and the fight between Okrun and Evil Eye. I mean,
Yeah.
especially the last one that they just did. I don't know if you've seen the one from yesterday, but
No. No. I
oh,
left off. I left off at the kick.
yeah, no, you gotta see that fight. I will say, as not to spoil anything, but the way that they animated Okurun when he was going full throttle in that one, like you know me when it comes to I love seeing people just pop off. I love seeing like the craziness kind of come out kind of situation. And the way they animated him when he was about to go full throttle, like because of that, like his way his mask appears when he goes into his mode, like they shadowed him and gave him like this demon looking smile that you see his eyes, he's all shadowed, kind of fuzzy, blurry, and you just see this huge demon looking smile as he's above Evil Eye, and I'm just like, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's not the only time like things like that happen, and to see that and like God, even the fight he had with Evil Eye when he was below the house and he was trapped inside the cursed house that Evil Eye had made was still awesome and
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, yeah, when it was just them two inside
Yeah,
the yeah, and he was like,
and he like freaking jumped up and was like, yeah, punching him like supercharged kind of situation.
"Oh my God." And like I was focused on how much like at first I was shocked that the barrier started cracking.
Yeah,
And then I was like, okay, almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there. And then as soon as he got out, he lost his power. And I was
yeah,
like, oh shit! I was
yeah,
like, that almost didn't work.
yeah.
Uh,
But again, like I love the characters because yes, they have these powers. I think we talked about this in season one. But yes, they have these powers, but they're smart with them. They use them as smartly as they can, and sometimes they do things and solve problems that they have, even though they're supernatural or alien in any sort of way. They solve them without even using the powers,
yeah,
or the powers are like a byproduct in that regards. And I love
yeah,
that. It's we're not reliant upon the abilities that they have. Their intelligence and cunning in their own way is their greatest power.
yeah. Um,
Characters. This is how you do it.
yes. Um, there is one wild card character where I'm like, I wish I got more development from him, like I'm getting from the other characters. But Gigi is so silly
He is.
that I almost can't take him seriously. Um,
I don't think you're supposed to.
yeah, I'm starting to get to that point because I'm like, every single moment he has the chance, it's just something silly.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
so
is nice because him with Evil Eye, we've got two polar opposites with each other.
yes,
GG is super silly, Evil Eye is super serious.
yeah. Um, one thing, what, yeah, and the show just can't stay serious.
No.
It'll turn silly in a second. Um, so one of Gigi's jokes that I thought I understood, but I had to Google it, was when they're eating the hot pot and what was it? Some hot the mannequin ate some of the soup and like he finally transformed back to his regular self. Um, and then they did some tests and they're like, oh yeah, hot water turns them back normal, cold water turns them to evil eye. And then he started singing that song. It was like yapapa yapapa enchanted, and I was like, that sounds familiar. But
It should.
before, yeah, I was like, but before he started singing that, whenever they did the cold water and everything, I was like, is this a random one half joke? And I was like,
I don't
uh,
know if you've noticed, there have been so many references throughout
yeah,
this entire show.
yeah, and I'm like, I think some of them go over my head, and then some of them I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But that one, I was like, is that a random one half joke? I'm like, who's gonna understand that? I'm like,
It's great. I mean, I
yeah,
love the fact that they're they're understanding where they're coming from, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna throw in these Easter eggs essentially and
Yeah,
see if anybody notices or if pays
yeah,
attention or catches it.
yeah. And then they doubled down with him singing that song, and I'm like, why does that song sound familiar? And then I was like, wait a minute, let me look up Ranma One Half intro. Yep, yep. I'm like, ah, that's the song. I'm like, damn it, Gigi, silly man. Uh,
But see, in the context, that
yeah.
makes sense
Oh yeah.
because it's like you believe Gigi probably watched Ranma.
Yeah.
He could have.
Yeah.
So he was just literally, as a person, if it was you or me doing what it just popped into his head and he's referencing it because to him this is what makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's man. It's it's just
It's so good.
yes, it is. Um. Okay. Um. The Gray family. um. With like head grandma that like knows kung fu, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I
I don't know if they're alien or if they're monster or something.
yeah, it's so it's like my journey with them was weird because it's like they were the mysterious threat who we thought was the big bad, or at least I thought was the big bad.
I mean, they kind of are as far as that goes. At least the
Yeah.
grandma is, and it's just again the silliness. Just I'm remembering her just saying Jennifer Lopez
Yeah.
Anaconda. But again, that's the tone of this anime,
It's like
where they're
who?
just like, this is why, this is the Fooly Cooly, this is the Excel Saga, where they're just like,
Oh my god, the references.
we have these little things, we make references, and then we go really silly, and then we bring it back. And
Yeah.
then we'll do a little bit, we'll make some references, and then go really silly, and then bring it back.
Yeah.
So it's this is to me this is just pure fun. That's all it is. It's
Yes.
pure fun.
Yes.
Yes, they have
Uh,
tense moments. Yes, they have
oh yes.
things where you're just like you cheered and stuff because of what happens, like seeing Okuron beat the hell out of Evil Eye and everything, going out of that, breaking himself out of the cursed house or whatever. Was one of
Yeah.
those I was like, yeah, yeah. Like there's
Yep.
moments like that where you're like, cheering, rooting kind of situation. But in the end, you're just like, this is just good fun.
Yeah, and it's like this show is 100% a roller coaster because you'll have a high moment where like he breaks out of that just barely by the skin of his teeth breaks out of that barrier, and then not 2 minutes later he goes to try to save
Turbo
the
Granny
cat, and then just gets stuck in the goo, and I'm like, ah, you were
screaming,
so.
help, help. But then an even more tense moment when the volcano goes off, and
Yeah,
then Momo goes to the hole of where the house was, and
yeah,
sees it's filled with lava, and absolutely like loses her shit
yeah,
because you
and
think he's dead.
yeah, and you're like, they're not gonna kill. They're not gonna. This show.
I mean,
This
but
show.
you don't know
Like this
because
show
it's
better.
silly.
You're like, they're not gonna kill. This show better not kill him. It's
Yeah,
like, you start getting worried right along with them. 'Cause you're like, man, this show is such a wild card. You don't know what they're gonna do.
yeah.
Uh,
But
but
then
yeah,
to have him come up with the help of the aliens, and
yeah,
and have it be the reason why he survived because of the goo from the worm, and then her reaction was so genuine in that regards.
yeah,
Like seeing him okay and everything. Again, that's where they get that silliness, and then they
yeah,
bring it right back to reality.
yeah,
But they do it because they do it through the characters. The characters are what brings it back to, because everything they do and everything they are makes sense
yeah,
in any sort of fashion. Anyone watching this, maybe they aren't going to have the exact same ideas, but for the most part, they're going to go, that seems reasonable. Yeah, no, I could see that happening. Oh, I could do that. Or, given those situations and abilities, I could definitely see someone doing that, making that decision. It's
Mm-hmm.
realistic in that regards.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I want to go. I want to go back to the Gray family and the grandma. Um, so it's like I they didn't really seem like people. They just seemed
no.
like at the beginning they seemed like just this ominous like robots that are gonna get you eventually.
Well, they kind of seem like the same aliens that Momo encountered in the very beginning.
Yeah, and then after what was it? After the dudes try to attack Momo, and then um, Gigi kind of gets scolded, and they're like, "Hey, you're staying at our house," and and he's like, "Who's this guy you brought?" And he's like, "Oh, he's my best friend." And he's like, "What's his favorite soccer team?" and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then he slips up once, and they're like, "You lied to us," and then they just completely
Yeah.
switch. And I'm like, it's like I was worried at the beginning, a little scared, and then they started warming up to him, and then I was like, I don't trust you, but I'm gonna loosen up again. And then he slips up, and I'm like, okay, I'm back scared again.
Yeah.
and then and then um, we like basically Okaru finds out what that worm is, and they're like, no, it's the god, it's the Earth god. And then I'm like, oh, y'all are dumb.
But see, here again, the fact that the volcano erupted after they killed the worm actually makes sense in a
Hmm.
way because what was the worm doing? The worm was digging holes and burrowing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what was that doing for the volcano? It was relieving pressure
Yes.
because the lava had some other place to go because it was making tunnels for the lava to go into that was getting away from the surface. So
Yeah.
once you kill the worm, now the lava has no other place to go other than where it was intending to go in the first place, straight up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which then
Yeah.
also makes sense the reason why that hole that they were in became filled with lava too.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense because I was like, why is lava in the hole but not around on the surface? I
Because
was,
of the worm tunnels.
yeah, that explains it.
Yeah.
Dang, man, this
It's
show.
reasonable explanations. As crazy as it is, it has actual reasonable thought process involved.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, like I'm I'm excited to see I'm excited to see the rest of this fight, and I'm curious. Is Grandma gonna come back at the end of the episode, end of the season? 'Cause I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Yeah, or is she gonna be one of those characters that come back like next season?
More and more. Speaking of grandmothers, I'm more and more. I'm loving Momo's grandma.
Oh yeah,
More and more.
yeah. Ah. yeah, yeah. I'm just rolling back the show through my head, and I'm just like, God, this show's good.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. 9 to 9, another excellent show this season. Definitely take a watch. But yeah, the next show we're gonna be talking about is uh, Game Center.
All you, my man.
yes. So, um, I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching this show. I watched one episode, and the way it's playing out is how it should play out,
Mm-hmm.
and how it would play out in real life, but
Okay.
not how I thought it would play out as an anime.
Gotcha.
So,
So they went too far
um,
into realism in this one, huh?
I wouldn't say too far. They just took a logical approach,
Mm.
and it's going to end up developing more in a realistic way as far as the romance and stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I thought that this show would basically be, um, she's a culture like she's from England, so she
Mm-hmm.
speaks English. Um, the the guy is in a arcade in Japan, so he speaks Japanese, and I thought that he would learn a little, or he would get better at English, and I thought that she spoke some Japanese, so I thought it would go back and forth as
Mm-hmm.
far as like them communicating, and I thought the romance would develop with this like mix of languages.
Mm-hmm.
No, he uses the English that he does know, and then in Japanese at her,
Mm-hmm.
and she speaks in English at him.
So
And
half the time they have no idea what the others are saying.
yeah, half the time they're assuming what the other person says, and that's where the hijinks ensue. So she went in there on Valentine's Day,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a fan of this blue koala character that has a bunch of like merchandise and different things. I don't know if it has a show or something like that. But she has the little keychain on her backpack, and she sees a like a plush in the arcade in the claw machine. So she goes and tries to get it, and he like the guy he ends up like going into work, and he sees her at the machine, and he sees the way she's approaching it, and he's like, ah, she's in his head, he's like, ah, she's never gonna get it. And then he goes to work and starts doing things, and then later on in his shift, he like walks back by the machine, and she's just pissed off, staring at the thing, and then grabs another coin and throws it in the machine, and he's like, oh no, she's she's not gonna give up. So he goes to help her. Meanwhile, I'm like, how much money has she dumped into this machine? Like,
Probably
it's been
quite a bit.
out. I was like, it's been hours. So he uses the one of the claws to hook the bandana that the koala has, and
Mm-hmm.
like um gets it that way, and then um she thinks that he's in like showing off and insulting her. So she has this like insulted look to her, and he was like, "No." Well, he's like, she interprets the situation however she wants to interpret it. So like she's pissed off. So when he's like smiling at her and is like handing it to her, but not saying here, um, she interprets it as him going, "Ha, I got it." And she's like, he sees that she's like still pissed off, and he's like, "No, here for you." And he like looks around to like try to like get something, and like there's Valentine's posters over there, and he's like, "Happy Valentine's Day," and he hands it to her, and she's like, "Valentine," and she's like, "Oh," and like takes it, and then he's like, "Yeah, for me," and he's like, "Yeah, for you, Happy Valentine's Day," and she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like, "Oh, I'll cherish it." And he's like, "You can have it." And I'm like, "Y'all are understanding what she what y'all are saying." And then she,
Basically, a series of misunderstandings.
oh my god, it is. And basically, she goes home and she's all like admiring and everything and thinking about him. And I'm like, did did he kind of just like propose? I guess. uh,
Yeah, kind of.
so the next day he's at work and she shows up, but she's like hiding behind one of the vending machines, like staring at him the whole day. And one of his coworkers is like, uh, is she looking for you? And he's like, huh? And he turns and she hides. And then she like peeks back and like stares that straight at him. And he's like, oh, oh, yeah. And he's like, did you do anything to her? And he's like, no, well, maybe. And then he realizes that him saying Valentine's Day may have like miscommunicated something. So um he sneaks around behind her because every time he looks at her she hides. So he pops up and she's like ah and like tries to run but she can't get out. She gives up and then he's like talking with her and he's like, I'll give you a tour of the arcade. And she's like, oh, so you'll show me around, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's technically the same thing, but you're saying it in a weird way, and he's saying it as an employee. so,
Yeah.
so, um, so basically, he says, "I'll give you a tour," and she says, "You'll show me around, yeah?" And he's like, "Yes, I'll show you around." And then she's like, "Well, show me around then." And I'm like, "Y'all said the same sentence 4 times."
Good lord.
So they go and like do the tour, start playing different games and stuff like that, and then I'm like, man, is he on the clock? Like, is that part of his job? Like, just playing games with customers? I'm like, that's a great job. Um, so then there's this one point where there's a photo booth next to a knockoff House of the Dead game. And they kind of like he kind of runs out of ideas, and he's like, "What do you want to do next?" And she's like, "That," and points at the photo thing. And then he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." Cut to them at House of the Dead, and she's like, she like turns towards the photo booth. It's like,
Good lord.
so the game starts up and it's all like and everything. She's like and he's like this is my favorite game. And it's like and she's like um I can't remember what happens, but all of a sudden she like locks in and it was like let's get this over with and she just start bah, 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 just start taking out all the zombies and everything. I guess to get the game over with, and then she's like that and they finally like take a picture and everything, and then I think it's the next day, not later on. Maybe what? Either way, it's the same thing. Um, Now she's trying to get another blue koala thing,
Mm-hmm.
and she's really close but still can't get it. So then he helps her, like um, get it, and then she hands it to him with a note, and the note says "Be my Valentine." So then he takes that home, and then he's thinking about his day and her, and then he's like, "Be my Valentine," and then he looks it up, the translation, and the translation he gets is "Be my lover," and he's like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
oh I gotta straighten this out." So then what he does, which is cool, is, and I say cool because it's probably something similar to what I would do. He gets this notebook and writes a note to her in English, kind of like diffusing the situation. And he's like, "Here you go." And basically, he's like, um, "It's nice to meet you. This is my name. I work at the game arcade." And basically, it's like, um, "Did did like basically did you think that we?" He's like, "What is?" I want to say it without it sounding rude, but it's basically like I think
Did
there's a
you think we were
misunderstanding.
dating?
Yes, yes. Did you think we were dating? He's like, we can't basically like we can't be lovers, but um, we can get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a letter. Here's a notebook that we can hand back and pass back and forth, and that way I can practice. He's like, also sorry, my English is so bad. He's like, so I can practice English, and we can get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, and basically, he's like, sorry for the misunderstanding and stuff like that. And then she reads it, and she's like, okay, I understand. And then she like runs, like takes a couple steps away and turns toward him, and is like, I'll make you fall in love with me, and then runs out of the building.
Oh,
And
good lord.
then the episode's over. And I'm like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
The name of the show is like culture exchange, so I'm like, yeah,
it would have been better if it would have been a case of they were friends or just became friends, and then over time they just maybe see now I'm like rewriting the story. It's like maybe she went to the arcade because she didn't have anything else to do or didn't have any friends or whatever. So she went to the arcade for fun and met him there, and he saw that she was always by herself, so he thought she, could use a friend, so he would play with her, and they would kind of slowly but surely kind of get to know one another and slowly
yeah,
over time become friends and then maybe go more than that further on down the line.
yes,
That would have been the smart way of doing it, but they decided they were going to try to be either they were getting too rushed and wanted to try to fit this into like a 12 episode situation, or they were trying to be too funny slash tropey about it and just went in a they're gonna catch feelings for each other right off the bat, and but then they're gonna it just feels weird.
yeah. It's like a misunderstanding led to a forced romance that'll eventually happen
Yeah.
instead of it developing naturally.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's two things. One, the approach that the show takes, um, which can be funny if it was funnier.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time she opens her mouth, I'm like, ah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's not natural English. It's someone speaking natural sounding English
Mm-hmm.
with a forced accent who normally doesn't speak English.
Yep.
And then I can't.
It would have been better if it was like a different language and they just like said it was like say for instance the one with the Russian girl.
Uh,
Amia hides her feelings in Russian or something like that.
oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
So yeah, there's a girl who it goes. She's a cultural exchange student and was in Germany and or Russia and moved to Japan with her parents, and she speaks Japanese, but she has a crush on the guy and will say things about him or do things with him and say things in Russian. Unbeknownst to her, he actually knows Russian.
I think I've seen the trailer for that one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So if it was that, like they did, well, I mean, maybe it's just because if since I don't really know Russian or only have heard Russian in like movies and stuff like that, it sounded better. Like they actually Russian itself sounded better,
yeah.
but maybe to somebody who's not English speaking native, it doesn't sound like too bad kind of such. I don't know.
Yeah. To
But
me,
it
the
just when you do things like that, especially for someone who is supposed to be an exchange student, they should sound more natural. And I guess my point in that, at least to me, the one with Amia hides her feelings in Russian, her Russian sounded more fluent and natural, like she actually had been born there and actually knew of it.
yes. So the main issue that I have with it is the English because it sounds like she's speaking dub.
Yeah.
and that's because I know English. So if she was like French or like any other language other than English,
Mm-hmm.
then that would not be an aspect of this show that turns me off of it.
Or if instead of actually making it for where she was a foreign exchange student, maybe like she visited like an English speaking country and like maybe came more accustomed to English. Like maybe her that would just explain the reason why her English is broken.
Well,
Like
no,
she
his
picked
his
up on words.
no his English is broken.
No, no, I'm
She
talking about her.
oh, okay. Okay,
I'm just
okay.
saying, like, if to explain it away, like, if there was more of a reasonable explanation as to the reason why her English was broken, instead of it just being the fact that it's a Japanese voice actor trying to speak English, because like when you say someone is from another country, they should sound more fluent in whatever country you say they're from.
Yeah, and in her case, she sounds fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like natural speech. It sounds like someone saying phrases with an accent, and
Mm-hmm.
it it sounds perfectly fine as a phrase. It doesn't fit in the conversation because the phrase stands alone by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So every it's like he'll say something, and because I don't speak Japanese, it sounds fine to me. And then she'll say something, and I'm like, that's a sentence in English with the accent that that kind of kind of fits into this conversation, but it stands out so much that it pulls me out and makes me
So
think about how
is it a matter of how she's saying it, or is it a matter of the way they wrote it in the script?
it's for me it's 100% a matter of how she's saying it.
Okay.
She
So the words themselves are not bad. It's just a matter of how the actual voice actor is actually pronunciating it. It's funny. I mean, maybe if there is an actual dub version of it, like
interesting. That would be
maybe
sick.
watching it in a dub would be better.
You know what? I, I I know I'm not gonna do it, but that's a good idea to like watch the dub version of this to see if it flows better than the
Mm-hmm.
Japanese version of this. Because I'm curious how they'll do it. I'm like,
Because
is
then he's the one who's not speaking correctly because he'd be speaking Japanese. But would you actually keep him speaking Japanese, or would you have him speaking English and then just make it to where it sounded like the two of them were, like, having a hard time hearing or understanding each other? I guess I don't know.
or would you just say she speaks something that's not English? Like everybody else on the show speaks English, and she speaks something else.
Well, no, it would be a case. Well, I don't know.
Like
That's weird.
that kind of breaks my brain a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
She
curious.
speaks German. Yeah, but yeah, um, I was saying those are my only two things about it: forced romance and then her the way she speaks. Other than that, I could
Mhm.
I could get through the show.
Mhm.
It's silly. It could be funnier, and it's interesting seeing like the knockoff versions of all the games.
Mhm.
Um, and I'd like to know more about like what he does for his job. So yeah, I'd be interested to seeing like a different version of this. But yeah,
Fair.
that
Fair.
is culture exchange in a game center. Alright. The next show we're going to be talking about is Gachiakata.
Yes. This is like this is right up there with Clavadis.
Yes.
It's dark. It
Yes, it
is.
is.
It is very dark. I would say Clavadis is probably a little more darker than this, but it's still
Yes.
pretty dark.
Yes.
Um, but it is so good. Like, God, the first episode is a little. It was a little hard for me to get through
Hmm.
without kind of being like, okay, whatever, okay, yeah. But by episode two, it had me hooked. And this
Okay.
is definitely one of those shows that like I look forward to watching for sure every time it comes.
This this Dead Man Wonderland is what this show
Remind
reminds
you of.
me of as
Mm-hmm.
far as the setup, where main character gets framed for doing something he didn't do
Mm-hmm.
and gets banished to the world of violence. um, it's one of those shows where it's like it's up my stepdad's alley,
Mm-hmm.
um, where he he likes the dark violent shows,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not I'm not 100% sure if it like checks all of his boxes. It does check the major boxes as far as like the genre of the show. Um, I
Did
it's like a couple more episodes and then I would recommend it to him.
how many have you watched?
I think I watched three.
Three? I mean, come on. Like, okay, so granted, the first episode, kind of, you know, yeah, it's the first episode is set up. So the first episode is set up to just kind of get the main character. You kind of get a little bit about him, and then you get his motivations, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of see the world itself is the biggest setup in that regards.
Mm-hmm.
Finding out what's going on in the world he's in, and then realizing that the world he's in is merely just a small taste of what the true world actually is.
Yes.
Um, but then once he actually gets to planet side and actual like the real world, if you will, I think it just opens up so much more from there.
Yeah.
Like this show has a message, 100%. It definitely it sticks to an idea and it's running with it, and I
Yeah.
think it's cool in that regards of the fact that it's doing that
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing, and the way it handles it is so interesting to me. Like the idea that items specific items that people carry and cherish with them for long periods of time, if you are capable of, you can bring it out as a power that you could then use as a weapon, as a defense, as whatever. Like they introduced a character just recently who utilizes their tool as a way of healing people. Like there's multiple different facets and multiple different ways in which they do things, and our main character being capable of grabbing items, like most people have the item that they themselves care for and therefore they can turn it into these other tools and such. He's capable of grabbing anything that has had a long relationship or care taking from it and be able to bring it out and make it work in some way, shape, or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that is just awesome. I
Yeah.
love the ideology of that. I love the concept of it. And then the anime itself, it's not for everyone. It's the style is not for everyone, but I love the style. I think it's
Oh
cool.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Stylized, I think it's great. I think it definitely it's a very unique feel to it. Like you did say, it reminds you of Dead Man Wonderland, but I think the art style itself is very much. I'm curious to see if the actual manga itself is directly correlating to that as far as that
Mm,
goes, or if
mm,
they just took a different art style itself with it because it's very unique to me. I
yeah.
cannot recall there being an anime where I've like really seen that sort of like edgy kind of art style to it.
Mm,
Um, but it works. It works in the concept of what they're doing. That's
mm,
another thing I love, and the thing like I've said before about like with Berserk, where the newest one, the art style did not lend to the overall anime itself.
yeah.
This, I think, the art style lends heavily to the anime itself, and it really
Mm,
works in its own way.
mm,
Um, the characters are unique and fun. Um,
yeah.
I love uh, the main character. He's grown on me. He's definitely grown on me. He's got that attitude. He's spirited. I definitely was like, eh, but he's grown on me. But I think he's grown on me because he himself is growing.
Mm,
He's kind of as though I've watched him. He's definitely had some changes and such like that. Um, Engine is awesome. I love Engine. He's just one of the damn coolest characters I've seen. Love his character. Very laid back, but also very serious when he needs to be, and just
yeah.
he just says it like it is. It's
Yeah.
fun, and just I love his character. Um,
I, I love the fact that he can let himself get carried away,
yeah,
like like when when they first when he first came across the main character, and
yeah.
he was like shush, and he's like I don't want to shush. You need to answer my questions. What's happening over there? He's like, would you shut up? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna shut up. And then he's just like, shut the fuck up. These things are attracted to sound, and now you got me yelling, and now the things are coming. And I'm just like,
See
and the things are right
that
behind him, and he's still yelling. And I'm like, man.
that is comedy. That is great comedy. Um, which then leads me to my funniest laugh out moment because yes, I'm a child in that regards. His first meeting with um his mentor who was supposed to train him how to use tools, and he starts a fight with him, not meaning to, but he starts a fight with him, and it pulls a piece of garbage out of the pile next to him and uses it as a weapon, and it's a plunger. And the freaking plunger still has crap in it, and he's just trying to. And when he guy finally realizes he's running away, trying to get away from him, and then you have a Scooby Doo moment, which was awesome, and he freaking flings poop on him, and just oh, I was cracking up laughing so hard at that.
Oh,
Just because he didn't realize what he was doing and then later
oh,
realized it and just went,
oh, yeah. It's like the dude realized it once it hit him in the face, and he's
yeah.
like, what's that? And he's like, oh no!
But then it was asked, it was like, how do you not realize what that is or what that could have on it? But I thought about it and I was like, wait, he was living up above. They just probably have a hole or something they just crap
Yeah,
out of. They don't need
yeah,
plungers. Why would they need
yeah,
plumbing?
yeah.
So, of course, he wouldn't realize what the hell it was until
Uh,
after the fact when someone told him.
and he's like, dude, put that down. He's like, no, slap, slap.
He's like, he's scared of it. I could use this as a weapon to take him
you,
out.
don't, you don't tell me what to do.
It was amazing. Oh my god, I loved it so much.
And then it just finds out he nearly drives off the road
Yeah.
laughing.
Which I did
Oh,
not blame him in the least.
oh my god.
I think that was only up to the third episode, correct?
Uh, I believe so. Yeah, I think um, the first episode is his little heist with the stuffed animal, and then the second episode is him confessing, and then it's seeing the murder, and then the third episode is him like
So
Fallen.
you saw the redhead at the very
Yes.
end.
Yeah. Basic. Yeah. That's where I left off. Yep.
I love her character.
Okay.
She is awesome. She is so fun. Just like
Okay.
Engine, she is so fun because so oh god, I just want to get into it, but like they go back to HQ. He tries to meet the boss. Boss isn't there. And he's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" Because they'd say the boss isn't going to be there for they don't know when, so he could be gone for a while. And then she pipes in and goes, "Well, if you don't have anything to do, you can always join me on my next mission, and you could just watch, because you're not officially one of us, a cleaner, so you can just watch and be a part of and see what we do." He was like, "Okay, sure, why not?" She's so fun. Her tool. The reason why at the end she was like at the end of the episode you saw she was messing with his hair.
Yeah.
Her tool is hair shears. Like she has the clippers, like the actual scissors kind of situation that you would normally
Okay.
see a barber use.
Yeah.
But when she activates them, they turn huge, like
Yes.
bigger than she is.
Yes.
And then she like uses her instead of using her hand, she uses her foot to swing him around like a weapon. And the entire time she was facing off against this huge beast. Like it had like on its head it had these dreads that came out the back of it, and she's make the way she's talking is like she's a barber, and she's like, "Oh, do you need a little bit off the top? Oh, let's see." And you're like, "Oh, is that a little too much? Don't worry, we can fix that. Don't worry." And just like she's so fun. I love her character.
Okay.
She was so much, and then God, the characters in it. Because then like he meets up when on this mission. They're not only are they cleaners, but there are assistants to the cleaners who don't have the power that the cleaners have, but they assist them in taking out beasts by like setting things up or doing things that allow them to do their job easier. And like one of the dudes that he meets up with like has amazing like strength. Like even though he doesn't utilize a tool or anything, he still has like amazing strength. Because the first time they shake hands, he just about crushes the MC's the hand inside of his grip. Um, but he's all like, there's some of the smaller beasts that she first took out before taking on the big dude, and he finds one of them and he's like, "Heads up!" Because he grabs it and literally tosses it over, and she's like, and she turns around, plants the scissors inside of the ground, and holds it open to where it comes flying at her, and it splits in half as it's coming towards
Nice.
her, and she just looks at him and goes, "Keep him coming, keep him coming." I'm just like,
Nice.
oh, it's fun. It is just so much fun. But it's dark. Don't get me wrong. It is dark. But it is so much fun. And there is so much like going on in this world that I just want to know more about it. And seeing all the different abilities and seeing all the different people that he comes in contact. They're all different characters. They all have their own personalities. And I'm just and to go more into her, like she at one point when in the beginning of it, these little monsters come up and she's like, they come at this fence and he's like, "Are you worried about that?" And she's like, "No, look at that. They're not even denting it. It's fine. They we'll take care of them." And then bigger ones come and they actually start like bending the fence and he's like, "Are you sure we shouldn't be concerned about that?" And she's like, "Look, if you're gonna live down here, you gotta understand something. You gotta just be calm. Just be relaxed, be chill. It's fine. We'll take care of it. It's not a big deal." And then the biggest one comes and completely blows the fence apart that was holding them back. And he's just like, "Calm, right? Just calm." And she looks and goes, "Oh, that's kind of bothersome." And she's just like, "Oh, God."
Ah,
Yeah, no, I look forward to it every single time. It's just the greatest. I love it. I rank it
okay.
up right up there with Clavetus as just knowing and seeing and just yeah, it's good. I love it.
Good, good, good. Yes. So we got us another dark anime this season. That is very good. Alright. The next show we're going to be talking about is Hotel Inhumans.
So did you watch this one?
Yes.
What did you think?
I thought this was going to be the hotel that John Wick goes to.
You're kind of right.
Yep.
But to me, it's interesting because it almost reminds me of Kiki, or is it Kiko or Journey?
Kiki's Delivery Service? No,
No,
wait.
no, no, not Kiki's Delivery. The one
Uh,
we watched with the dude with the moped.
Kino's Journey.
Kino's Journey. That's right, Kino's
Yeah.
Journey. Doesn't it remind you? Because we just get like little. It's
I only saw one episode.
okay. The reason I say this is the concierge that we are with. Those are the constant characters.
Okay.
But then just about every episode. Sometimes there's 2 episodes per. But just about every episode, it's a new person coming in, and we're
Okay.
dealing with whatever they're dealing with. We're finding out their personality or what they deal with or how
Hmm.
things are evolving and with the story. They're all killers.
Hmm.
They're all assassins, but they're all different and they all have different issues or problems that the concierges try to figure out.
Okay. Well, then I need to give it the full 3 episode shot because I did not like the first episode.
So after the first episode, by the second episode, it is completely different people coming into the hotel, and
Yes.
it's what they're dealing with at that time. They're all
Yes.
assassins, but they're
Yes.
all different.
Yes. For some reason, it's like even though the first episode kind of ended in like a nice bow, and there's not really anything like much else that that character can do, I kind of felt like I was still stuck with him, and I was like, "This is sad."
Yeah,
And then I
it's
like,
not. It's not to say that they're going to be like happy in a lot
yeah,
of these, because
yeah,
again,
but
they're assassins, so it's
yeah,
not always sunshine and rainbows. Don't get me wrong.
yes, and it makes more sense why the episode ended at kind of like a bit of a downer and like finality, and I was like, well, now what?
Yeah,
And then like for the two concierge, it's like I like the lady and I kind of don't like the dude, and I was like,
there's an interesting dynamic going on between the two of them.
yeah, and I'm like, I was like, do I want to watch another episode of this, or do I want to start something new? And I'm like, I'm gonna start something new. But yeah, I'll give it I'll give it another try. Um,
I'm not saying it's going to be. Is it the greatest show this season? No, not by far. Is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. It's not
mm,
bad. There's definitely worse. I mean, I've continued watching it. I got rid of freaking the Bakuman or whatever that anime we were talking about before is because I'm like, no, I'm just done with that one. The
okay.
Basuman got you for it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, no, I just can't anymore. Um, but it's still fun. It's still interesting. I still find it
Yeah.
good. Um, am I the most excited to watch it every week? No, but I'm like, it's still fun.
Okay. Yeah, I just the impression that I got after the first episode kind of
Mm-hmm.
like I was just like I'm dropping this, I'm not coming back. But now that I know it's more of like an episodic thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, then I'm like, okay, I just didn't like the first episode.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I I,
So
I I I appreciated the first episode. I didn't think it was the greatest thing, but I thought it was okay. I
yeah.
thought it definitely told a very succinct story.
Yes. Um, it's one of those things where like it left information out
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like I should have been given if it was going to be a sad story.
Mm-hmm.
Like like who who like who when when did when did she die, and whose decision was it, and who did it?
Mm-hmm.
I at least want to be mad at somebody. And
That's
they're
fair.
like, nope, you're just gonna be sad. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna watch anymore then. um, but yeah, if it was a happy story, and they're like, oh, bad guys are gone and everything's happy, and I'm like, cool. I kind of don't really need to know the details. Everything's cool.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, um, but yeah, I like how you compared it to Kino's journey, where it's like it's gonna be a different, like it's like okay, cool, episode over, wipe the board clean and let's start anew,
Yep.
or somewhat new. Um, it's always Kino and the bike, and it's always the concierge in the hotel. So
Yep.
so yeah, yeah. I don't really have much more to say other than I'm gonna give it another try. Um,
That's fair. I mean, honestly, I don't have necessarily a whole lot to say. It's very, it's, I guess it is kind of darker than. I mean, it's not as dark as the other two that we talked about being dark, but it is
mhm,
definitely dark in its own way. I say.
yes, yeah. It's like dark as far as like John Wick is dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily evil
Mm-hmm.
or like what do you call it? Not evil or graphically dark, just like dark events.
Yeah.
It's like assassinations, shooting, this violence, but it's
Yeah.
not like
It's not over the
like
top though, and we're not like getting like hugely like graphically bloody, gory kind of situation. We're just like,
yeah,
there's blood, people die.
yeah. It's like dark for a show about a hotel.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. You
Yeah,
wouldn't expect it.
yeah. So, yeah, it's a interesting episodic show.
Yep.
Alright. The next show we're going to be talking about is Myongra.
Yes. Um, this one, I really enjoy this one. The
Okay.
Apocalypse Bringer Myongra world conquest starts with the civilization of ruin. I like this one a lot more than I thought I would. I
Okay.
thought this was going to be a very stereotypical isekai anime,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of starts that way, but it's very interesting. So, basic storyline is that this guy Takuto is was in a hospital in our world, and then he dies unknowingly. And when he wakes up, he's in what he sees as the game when he was in the hospital, staying in the hospital for as long as he was, because he stayed there a long time. And apparently, he played this online game, and he finds himself there with one of his heroes that he had in the game. And she actually remembers the game. Like, it's not like a world to her. She doesn't understand. She's like, wait, are we in the world that we were in? And but she remembers him because the faction that she was under is an evil faction. He played as an evil person in the game that he was in. So to me, this kind of starts off almost like Overlord.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It has very much that tone. Here's where I think it's interesting. Um, so a lot of things happen. They end up coming. They're in the forest, dark forest, and dark elves actually come there, and they find them, and they're running away because people don't like dark elves. And they actually say, "Would you like to join our clan and become part of us?" They agree to it, and their alignment becomes more evil because they were more neutral. And at first they're weary about that, but he has two. As the king, they feel like he needs to have subordinates, And the thing about him is that he's very awkward because of the fact that he lived most of his life in a hospital and didn't really have a lot of social skills. So eventually they find two elf girls that were twins, that he can deal with and actually communicate with more properly. And what really got me was they at first they tried to, during their journey to get to the forest, they had to go through a lot of hardships. One of the hardships was is her their mom died during their travel, and they kind of given up in a sense. So when they were told that they were going to be the aides to the king, they started doing things to see if they could anger him because they kind of just didn't want to continue on
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. And when he didn't do anything, at one point he kind of figures out what they're doing, and then they ask, "Well, you're evil. Shouldn't you do something? I mean, we figured that's what you would do, being evil." And he kind of looked at them and he goes, "Heroes are good, and they're good because they don't have." He's like, "I don't see evil being in that same sense." He's like, "Heroes have to do good, and by doing that, they're tied down to that idea, and they become subservient, and they're for the people, but they have a strict code, and they restrict themselves in what they can do because of that goodness." He said, "Being evil gives me the option to do anything. I'm not restricted. I can make decisions and do the things that I need to do for those that I care about without feeling morally obligated otherwise." And I'm like, that's an interesting way to look at that. Because I'm thinking about like back to like my D&D days where I would, when I picked an alignment, I would pick like more towards the evil side of neutral,
Mm-hmm.
because by doing so I was more free to make decisions as I saw fit without being more morally obligated to actually do good.
Yeah.
Like if I saw a situation where someone was being attacked, I can make that call that if I wanted to help them or if I wanted to let it play out. But if I was more towards the good-natured side, I would immediately have to jump in and have to actually defend them in that regards.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I kind of see it. Like it
Mm-hmm.
kind of makes sense. Like yes, he is evil aligned, but that doesn't mean that he has to go about just slaughtering everybody or,
Yeah.
doing bad deeds. It's not that sort of thing.
It reminds me of Wreck It Ralph, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm a bad guy, but I'm not a bad guy."
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. But see, I like that because, like, I feel like it's better than Overlord.
Mm.
Because in Overlord, he
Yeah.
initially he was like, "I'm not going to do evil things. I'm not going to do bad things. I want to do good." Or like he kept doing things in a way that would seem evil, but were actually, he wouldn't kill people or wouldn't do certain things that you would be like, it could be misconstrued, but he towed the line kind of situation.
Yeah.
This guy's like, I don't have to toe the line. I
Yeah.
make the decisions I want to make, and I make them based upon what I feel is the best interest of myself and the people around me.
Mm.
That's it. He said, but if that means I have to kill people, I guess that we got to kill people. But I'm not going to go out of my way to kill people. That's not what I need to do.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here making a kingdom for my people and the people around me that I care about. That's it. He's even said like peace is his preferred thing. If he could live his life in this forest with his people peacefully without any worries, cool. Obviously that doesn't happen because since he's evilly aligned, those who are good aligned are taking more notice of him and coming to him, so he has to take appropriate measures to defend those, he cares about and himself. But, you know, that's the way it is. So to
Well,
me, it's very interesting, and I love the dynamics of it, and I
mhm.
love how well they portray that without going like we're not maliciously evil.
Yeah,
We just do what we need to do.
yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah,
this is cool. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah. It's like, why do you keep killing all the heroes? It's like they started
Yeah,
it.
it's a good example of that, right? The good guys came at one point, the very first time that they did, because one of their priestesses in their land felt a disturbance and was like, "You need to go investigate this." Because I feel like there's malicious or evil intent coming from the forest. So they send a troop of knights, and the character that the king when he first awoke, the hero that he first awoke with, went out to meet them, but she went out in a cloak covering herself, so you couldn't even really see her all that much, and actually tried to talk with them and go. They're like, we need to get into the forest because we need to investigate, and she's like, please don't come into the forest. We're nothing but dark elves. We just want to be left alone. Please don't bother us any further. Yada yada yada. Like she tried really hard to avoid and give them all the possible reasons not to come into the forest.
Mm,
And one of the nights, there were two leaders. One of the leaders went, "All right, I think we're fine here. Let's pack it up." He was gonna leave, and he was gonna lead them away.
mm,
But the other leader was a bit of a hothead and was very devout to their priestess and was like, "You're wrong. We need to go in and inspect the forest." And he's like, "You're not going to listen to my command." And he's like, "No, I'm stripping you of your command. You're no longer in charge. Knights, let's go into the forest." And she tried one more time. "Please don't do this." And they drove swords on her. So the next thing you see is there's a bunch of tentacles come out of her back, and like multiple of the knights are now skewered on and just died like that. And she's like, "I tried to tell you,
mm.
didn't want to do it." But then when she started it, then she's like looking all evil looking because she got a smile on her face because now she's enjoying just the fact of just being able to slaughter them and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she tried. She gave you the option. You didn't listen. Had you listened, you'd have been able to walk away and go to your families and all this other stuff. But you didn't try. You didn't listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, that's interesting. I like the idea. Like we're on quote unquote the bad guys' side.
Mm,
I'm just curious to see how far they go or what things that they do, because they can get kind of crazy in certain situations. Like there was a town nearby that they were like, well, let's see if we can make alliances and stuff like that. So they send the two elf twins, and they send witch doctors as their bodyguards, and during the course of their stay, they ended up finding like these bad men in the town that they were trying to negotiate with, who were
mm,
like growing drug plants and everything, and then tried to like go after the mayor because they wanted to just make the town theirs kind of situation.
mm.
So the twins let the witch doctors loose, and what you find out is the witch doctors aren't really human, and in order to become more human, they kill the people who were trying to kill them and then skin them and wear their skin. You only see it after the fact where they have like patchwork looking bodies because their skin's like on them or whatever, and they're just like, look, we're more
Oh.
human, we're more human, we're more human, yay, human, human, human. And you're just like, that's dark but kind of funny at the same time, but okay. And the mayor's like
Uh,
sitting there like completely aghast and everything, and you're just like, they are evilly inclined, but they only did that when they were threatened.
yeah.
Shouldn't have threatened.
Uh, when you said wearing human skin, I thought was like slice down the stomach like a onesie, and like.
No, like they literally like peeled off the. I mean, because they didn't come off in one go, so like I think
Yeah.
they attached it to themselves. Like they're not the thing. The witch doctors themselves, they have the witch doctor like nose and mask and look and everything. But I don't
Uh,
think you didn't see until afterwards when they were wearing the human skin. But like they're not human in a sense in that regards. But
okay.
they always are like they're fascinated by humanity, and they were always asking questions about things that humans were doing. So then afterwards, you're like, oh, that's the reason why you were asking about it because you're curious about them because you're not human, and you're like,
Uh,
but then like you're wearing the skin, you're like, oh look, I'm more human, and then you start chanting, human, 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 yay, we're more human, human, human. Now we have human skin, and I'm like, gross, but all right, cool.
yeah. Every time I hear the phrase "wearing human skin," I think of Men in Black.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
Edgar?
Edgar, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Edgar, your skin's falling off your bones.
Yeah. Um,
But I mean, again,
interesting.
I like it. I think it's fun. It's interesting. I this is another one where I every time it comes on, I'm like, yes, another episode, cool.
Cool, cool, cool. Um, yeah, this was a little more, more your fantasy. I'm
Yeah,
curious to see what the witch doctors look like, um, but yeah, that is Miura. The next show we're gonna be looking at, talking about is vending machine in another world.
you know, this is one of those where like I often have to look at myself and go, why am I watching this? But I keep watching it. I keep watching it. This is like popcorn fantasy for me, where it's just like, are there better fantasy shows out there? Absolutely. Am I going to continue watching this if they made like 3 or 4 more seasons? Absolutely. Because I'm just like, I just want to. I just keep watching it. It's
Okay.
so interesting to me, just like the fact that he turns into multiple different vending machines and how he utilizes that. And I'm like, oh look, there's a vending machine for that. Really? They made a vending machine for that. Oh, okay, cool. Like, and then sometimes I look at that and I go, oh yeah, no, I definitely know that they made a vending machine for that. I'm like, okay, cool, cool. I see culturally like they'll make he turns into like a giant vending machine. I guess that they had at like the coast for in Japan for making ice out of water, but it's like almost the size of like God 8 stories or something like that. It's huge. Um,
Oh, okay.
but he turns into that, and then it's funny because like he'll do that. He did that in a boss fight that they were on because he made himself super light, super small, put his barrier shield around him, filled the barrier with balloons so he floated because he was so light, and then floated himself over the boss, and then dropped the shield and everything else, and then transformed in midair to this giant freaking vending machine that just flattened the hell out of the boss. And I was like, that's one way of doing it. Sure.
You know what? If you were to say that the vending machine killed the boss, I would have never come up with that.
Yeah.
I was like, so was one of the food expired and like the boss was like and died?
But like they use vending like I don't think we realize being in America about how many different varieties of vending machines there are, and like how it actually feels like it's more than just that. Like they have a medical vending machine that actually like has a it's an emergency vending machine where it actually has you don't put money in it, it's just like a standalone thing where it has a defibrillator in
Hmm.
it. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I think I've culturally, I think as you've seen enough anime, I think I've seen stuff like that where like I've seen like people use and things like that. And again, like different types of foods where they have different products and stuff like that inside them, or like things like with bath products or actual like restaurant quality ramen and stuff like that because it makes the whole ramen and stuff like or it makes pizza inside of the actual vending machine. I've
Mm.
seen those before too, and I'm like,
That one I want to see.
yeah, where it actually like will actually make the pizza in the vending machine itself, and I'm like, that's actually something that exists. I know that does. So I mean, it's interesting to me, like seeing all the different, and then he communicates like he has the keywords that he uses as the catchphrases that allowed him to do like a vending machine would have, like thank you for please come again, stuff like that. But then like in order to try to communicate better with people, he actually cuts off the phrases to try to actually sound words out so they come up choppy, but he can actually like utilize that in ways of being able to communicate better with people.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can see that, sure. So I mean, it's interesting. I'm like, all right, cool enough. What's the new venture? What's the new thing that we're doing? Are we fighting a boss? Are we, having to help somebody? Or we went to another level of another stratosphere, and they're low on food rations. Hey, look, we have a magical vending machine that will give you as much food as you need, just as long as you have coins, because that's the reason he's even able to exist is he continually gets paid.
Yeah.
So it's
Interesting.
is it the greatest anime in the world? No. Is it the greatest fantasy in the world? No. Is it fun to watch? Absolutely.
Good, good, good. I I want to catch up, but I was like, it's too many episodes for right now.
That's a lot.
But yeah. Eventually, I want to see these different vending machines because for the part that I did watch, it was interesting. So
Mm.
yeah. Um, one day I will get caught up. Alright. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Kaiju number 8.
Oh my goodness, man. This is right up there with Dan to Dan. In a different
Yeah.
way, but it's still right up there with Dan to Dan.
Yeah.
I this is another one where every time it comes on that week I'm like, "Yes, another episode." It is so good and so just I mean, you go into it knowing what you're getting because
Yes.
it's kaiju. So
Yes.
this is it it's not centralized around characters. It's centered around the fights.
Yeah.
Like you want to see the fights. You're like, okay, who's the monster of the week kind of situation? Who are we facing against? Who are we fighting against? How is this gonna play out?
Isn't Evangelion based the same way?
Kinda, yeah.
Where you just like you cut from battle to battle and then they weave character
Yeah,
development in between.
yeah, and see, that's what I was gonna say is that it's when you go into it, you're expecting the monster of the week situation, which is it does, and it delivers that beautifully, and the fights are outstanding. Even not withholding Kaiju number eight's abilities, even the other people around him are awesome,
Yes.
amazing at what they do, and it looks beautiful every time they fight. Especially, but then Kaiju number eight comes in, you're like, this is fucking awesome with his abilities. But even then, like during that time too, they do weave in the character development, just like you're saying with Evangelion. They do weave that in. It's not something they had to do. If they just had it as just monster of the week and we're gonna do fights kind of situation, I still would have loved it. But then they have the little bits of character development in there, that's just sprinkled inside, and I love that too. I love the knowing about how people's interactions are and their motivations and what they think about what they try to do and all that other stuff, it just it works, and I think it's done beautifully.
Yeah. I um we the last episode we didn't get it. We didn't do the character breakdown, and I kind of want to do that like at the end of this season.
I was about to say at the end we might do that. Yeah,
Yeah, because yeah,
we got too many
basic.
more to go through.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're like halfway done. The part where I ended was when he put on the two arms and ended up in the hospital.
hmm I've
Um,
seen the next one after that.
okay, yeah, and I'm like,
That
I
that that shows a lot though, because he even mentioned it, and I think it's true. What he felt in that instant is what our main character feels all the time,
yeah,
because that's with him all the time.
yeah,
And I think that's the reason why what's her name's father that ended up getting killed had respect for him,
yeah,
because he's worn those gauntlets and everything that has the same sort of situation. So
hmm,
he understands what it's like having that monster constantly at your mind trying to take over. He gets it.
yeah, because he's like everybody here suits up.
Mhm.
It's like you are always suited up,
Yeah.
and not only are you suited up with suits that are made from kaiju, you are always suited up with a kaiju.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it not only a kaiju, a numbered kaiju.
Yeah.
So yeah, He's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Which is
Uh,
why I think he gave him the chance that no one else thought that he was going to give him, is because and then that's the reason why he pushed him, was to see if he had the ability to hold it back at his worst,
mhm,
if he had that ability to pull it back. So that's why I
yeah,
think he pushed him in that during that episode where they were fighting.
yeah,
So it's all logical. It's all understandable. I mean, when you really break it down and you really think about it, it all kind of makes its own kind of sense, kind of situation.
oh yeah,
And feeling
uh,
the camaraderie that they have too, it's super. God, like in a situation like that where you have people who are putting their lives in danger, like going for a more realistic approach. Let's think about like firemen or police officers in a situation. When
mhm,
you're in that field and you're doing these things, people understand that and they form a bond. They form a tight knit group kind of situation where you have respect for one another because you understand what the other person's going through.
yeah,
And I seen the interaction between his team, especially at the end of the first season, where they were all trying to help him and root for him, even though he has a kaiju, and that's a scary thought for all of them, thinking that he is essentially a kaiju in his own way.
mhm,
Um, but they were all trying to help him. Shows that bond that formed between all of them,
yeah,
where they have that camaraderie.
yeah, yeah. As I would say, this show is a roller coaster in a different sense than Dan Da Dan is a roller coaster.
Yeah,
I would say this show is a roller coaster of threat.
yeah. And the thing is that where Dandadan, yes, there are threats, but you're pretty confident that the characters will figure a way out of it.
Yeah,
With Kaiju number 8, you have no idea, because
yeah,
like what happened with the dad, I was on the
yeah,
edge of my seat going, "Come on, guys, come on, Kaiju number 8 and the dude." Like that, his captain that was with him. I'm like, come on, guys, you guys can make it. You guys can make it. You guys can make the difference. Stop him from doing what he's doing. Da 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 da
yeah,
da. And then he gets there, and you see that he's been consumed, and I'm just like, in my mind, I was heartbroken in that sense, and at the second, and that, but in my mind, I immediately went, yeah, because we can't have nice things here.
yeah,
We just, it's impossible. Everything's, it's gonna turn bad, and I
yeah.
think. in that sense, like things like that set the precedence where it's like we don't know. We've bonded with a lot of these characters and we feel for a lot of these characters and their struggles and what they're trying to deal with. But at the end of the day, by the time this series ends, who knows if our main character is even going to make it out alive.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
scary thought.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like this show finally it finally took one of the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like that threat was always on the table. But we just always made it out by the skin of our teeth.
Yeah.
And like even in that battle, it was like um it's like the dude with the laptop. Um like if he wasn't there, the battle wouldn't have lasted as long as it did.
No.
As much debris and like cars that were flying past that dude, I'm surprised he made it through the battle.
Yeah.
Um so and it's one of those things where I I wasn't as sad as when like the fire Hashira died. And it may
No.
it may be because that show broke me.
Yeah, no, 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 no. I don't think there's many shows that can match that as far as that goes when
Yeah.
it comes to sadness.
Yeah.
But you felt it, and I would say a sadness. To me, I felt just the disappointment because you had this buildup where both the Kaiju number 8 and his captain were coming and converging on him,
Yeah.
the girl's father,
Yeah.
and you're like, but they keep cutting away, and you're like, it's gonna make it, they're gonna make it, they're gonna make it, they're gonna make it, and then
Yeah.
they get there, and you see him, and you're like, did they make it? And then you realize, no, they didn't make it, and that's when it's like you just sink, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, damn,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like even after everything that he pulled out, it's
yeah,
like he maxed out how much energy he was pulling out. Then he like diverted all the energy to this, diverted all the energy to that. And I'm like, how much energy's left? And he's like, I can use a kaiju attack. And I'm like, okay, use it. And he's like, that's not enough. And I'm like, well, that sucks. And he's like,
yeah,
I can use two. And I'm like, and he's like, do it. And he's like, you'll never fight again. And I'm like, okay, so the rest of the season he's gonna be like in a wheelchair or something like that, but at least he'll
yeah,
win. I'm like, do it, do it. And then he's like, boom, and the thing's like, that's not enough. And he's like, one more. And I'm like, he can do one more? And the show's like, no, he can't. It's over. And
yeah.
I'm like,
But then they do it
oh,
in such a way where like they cut away, so you don't see him actually getting consumed,
yeah,
and you think that when they arrive and you see him standing there, you're like, oh, he's fine.
yeah,
Did the guy leave? Did he know that Kaiju number 8 and the other dude were coming? So he was like, I want to get away before they get here
yeah,
because I've taken too much damage and I can't
yeah.
deal with them on their own.
Cause that's
And
that's his usual mo.
yeah, but then you're like afterwards, after like a few seconds, you're like, oh
Yeah,
no, we're this is the worst case scenario. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah,
And it's a gut punch in that regards.
yeah. Cause this is the first time, or maybe, where there's like two bumps in power as far as the enemy goes.
Mm,
Because usually it's like we're fighting something new and it's way more powerful. The heroes have to like up their game. This time where it's like, okay, it it was one of those things where it's like there's two of him, so you know the real version of him is somewhere else.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, this sucks. His satellite versions of him are already really strong, and they defeated him without going all out. So, but you know that something else is coming.
yeah,
And then when that dude gets up and starts walking all weird, I was like, no way. And then the real battle happens, and it's one of those things where it's like he the that num number 9, right?
yeah. He's Kaiju number 9.
Yeah, number 9 is always like a step and a half ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And from the stuff that we're learning about him, as far as like creating numbered kaiju and stuff like that, it's this is the first time where I'm like I truly acknowledge him as a real threat,
Oh yeah.
because the other times he's just been a really really smart kaiju that's been numbered,
Yeah.
and then this time he's like, oh no, he's the mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
That makes things completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm I'm a little worried because like even though we're gonna have eventually have another number with us, he's very this number nine is very smart, and I'm a little worried
Yeah.
because he can infiltrate the base now,
Yep.
and he also has all of the knowledge that that the dad had.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh no.
No, 100%. 100%. And now the fact that we realize if Kaiju number 8 continues to use his abilities, he's starting to slowly turn where he might not go back to being human again,
Yeah, and
which
then
is
it's
another
like,
scary thing.
yeah, and then there's the not a threat yet, but Kaiju number 10
Mm-hmm.
is making that deal with the other leader,
Yep.
and there's no telling what's gonna happen with that. Even the guy said it. He's like, we have no idea. We've never made weapons out of intelligent numbered kaiju. We have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yep.
And I'm like, and it's a kaiju that number nine made, and I'm like,
But the fact that number 9's or number 10 said that he's a prototype.
yeah,
And the reason why he wants to be made into a weapon is because he actually wants to be able to go up against the actual what number nine's final product is going to be.
yeah,
I'm like, that's
and 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 it's it's man, I want to go into each kaiju. I want to go into each character. We can do that later.
yeah,
One aspect about Ten is that Ten knows who he is. Ten is confident,
mm-hmm.
and Ten is powerful, and that's the scariest thing that a monster could be.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh
100%.
yeah, yeah. This show is.
It's good. It's really good.
Have we had a show with more threatening monsters?
Mm, maybe not constant threats, because like this has just been constant threats over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there have been other shows that have had, beasts and stuff like that, but usually there's quiet moments. There's undertones where we go to do other things or stuff like that. This has just been one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. Cool, cool. Kaiju number 8. A very, very good show. Alright. The next show. Actually, I need a drink. So, I'm
same.
yeah. So, we shall be back in just a second. right. We are back. The next show we're going to be talking about is. Yep.
Mhm.
um, that one detective name, that detective show. I don't know the name to.
Oh, give me just a quick second. Come on, freaking load. Detectives these days are crazy.
yes. So,
So this was
oh,
the other one you watched. Okay.
yes, yes.
I'm a little surprised about that. I don't think I would have seen you watching this one.
I had it on my
I
upcoming.
guess the other two. This definitely would have thrown me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the whole, like, he has that whole I'm too old for this shit kind of vibe,
Yeah.
um, where it's the old grizzled detective and then the young, like, energetic, like, sidekick, I guess. um, it's interesting how we had said that Dandadan is kind of like Slayers as far as like the random wild stuff that it throws in.
Excel Saga and Fulikuli.
Yeah, yes, it sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this one is also off the wall, um,
Really?
and it's off the wall like how the other show was trying to be funny and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
This show is being silly and sometimes it's very funny. Um, a lot of the jokes I will get kind of like a because it's silly and it wasn't something I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then other moments I'm like watching in stunned belief.
Okay.
So so yeah, so basically this guy he has a functional detective business. Um he's not he's not desperate as far as like not having any cases and like trying to get cases to make his rent. Like he's doing fine. Not great but fine. And um at one point he had notices out for like hiring,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess he just gave up on it, so he took them all down or took most of them down. And this girl, she found it. She found one of the ones he didn't take down. So she busted into his office and was like, "Hey, I found this thing." And he's like, "Oh, that man, I had that a long time ago." And she's like, "I'm here for the job," and he's like, "I'm not hiring." And um, she starts like asking him and telling him like all the different like reasons why she should hire him. He should hire her, and he's refuting them and like just just trying to get onto his like the 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 case that he like actually has to get to. And she tags along, and the case is um, finding a lost cat.
Okay.
Um, he finds a cat, but it's not the same. It's very close, like so close that I didn't know the difference right away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "We found your cat," and she's like, "That's not my cat." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "What?" And then she's like, "The ear, it's a different color." And I look, and I'm like, "Oh, really? It is a different color." So him and the girl are like, "Oh, it is a different color. Should we keep this cat?" And the cat's like, trying to get away. And she's like, "I think we're gonna keep him." And he's like, "I don't want a cat in this office." And they just go on this tangent. And the lady's like, "Hey, trying to interrupt them. It's like, hey, what about my request? And then they're like, move on to something else. And I'm like, did they ever
Find the
solve?
cat.
Like, don't worry about that. We're doing something else now. And yeah, so then he goes to this.